Boy, big ghostwriter, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting off like this because I got to do this poll. Forget the politics. Are you better off under President Trump's economy? Well, excuse me, guys, real quick. Try to get this right. President Trump's economy. And that's yes or no. There we go, guys. Got it set up. Let's see if we can set up right here. We could get set up right here. We could get started. Seem like we might be in business, guys. So, guys, welcome to Cruising with Ghostwriter. I want to start off by saying happy Saturday, man. It's your boy, Big Ghostwriter. If you guys don't see it down there, I have a poll. So I ask as you guys come into the stream, you know what I'm saying, that you guys would participate in the poll question. We're going to give it a second and let some people get up in here. Guys, we're just waiting for some people to jump in the stream and we'll get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As you guys come in, I ask that y'all participate in the poll question. You double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. This morning, basically, we're going to be talking about President Trump's economy. To make a long story short, you know what I'm saying? I know we have people that have come in. Good morning, Donald. Donald Plump, man. I be loving the names of y'all. You know what I'm saying? It'd be so funny, man. Y'all are hilarious, man. Happy Saturday, everyone. How are y'all doing? The New Year's here. You know what I'm saying? State of the Union coming up soon. We have an election in November. That is a ginormous election. All of the power in the United States is at stake. Real talk. So, guys, we're going to make sure y'all give me just a second. So, guys, y'all ready to get cooking? Let's go ahead and get started with the content, guys. So what we're doing this morning we're going to look at President Trump's economy. The way that we're going to look at President Trump's economy, we're going to look at it over a few metrics. There's certain metrics that we're going to go over, okay? Now, I know you have Republicans, they're going to have their views or how they feel. You're going to have Democrats and they're going to have their views and how they feel. And I mean, if you're a Democrat, you're going to say, listen, Ghost, there's no way that you can come on this live stream and you can say that President Trump has a good economy. But as an independent, I'm going to say, look, what we're going to do is we're going to just look at the numbers. Whatever the numbers say, that's what we're going to go by. Point blank, period. I'm not on President Trump's side. I'm not against President Trump. Listen, I'll say this. I started Legal Wars Live supporting VP Harris. So if VP Harris would have won the election, you could kind of say, if I come on this live stream, I have a bias. Or because she didn't win, you would probably be more fair to say that I have a bias against President Trump. But what I'm trying to tell you is, even though I supported VP Harris, I'm an independent. I don't have a bias against President Trump. I don't have a bias for VP Harris. She can't be president. President Trump is president. So that she could be president, but it would have to be in 2028. The election has been settled. So that being said, what I'm telling you guys this morning, we're going to go by numbers. We're going to go by nothing but numbers, strictly numbers. You guys, Republicans, independents, Democrats, I welcome you guys down in the stream below. You guys let y'all voices be heard. Now, I'm going to start off, okay? And I'm going to start off with inflation. That's what our first metric we're going to go by, okay? We're going to go by inflation, all right? So let me get that posted. So when everybody come in here, y'all see the pinned comment. Inflation, that's what we're starting with. That's what we're talking about. Okay, like I said, we're going to go by numbers. So let's look at some numbers, okay? Now, based on an annual inflation rates, Jimmy Carter had the highest inflation ever in U.S. history. Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, and Joe Biden also experiencing significant inflationary pressures. Okay? That's very key. Joe Biden, 2021 into 2025, 6.3 annual inflation through early 2024, attributed to post-pandemic demand and massive economic stimulus. Now, if we judging President Trump by off of his inflation numbers, President Trump's name isn't on the worst or the best of the inflation numbers. 2.7% where he's at. But look, if you a Democrat's going to argue and say, hey, well, Joe Biden he had high inflationary numbers because of COVID. And on the Republican side, the Republicans going to say, well, hey, COVID isn't our fault. And on the Democrat side, the Democrats going to blame the way President Trump handled COVID. There might be varying truths of the situation. What I'm saying is today, the economy, look, when I hear Republicans say that, hey, we're going to, they talk about Joe Biden. I don't want to hear nothing about Joe Biden. President Trump, this 2026. He's been president. Those are his policies, okay? Understand that. But inflation is one thing that I can say that you kind of do have to look at the previous president. And since President Biden's name is on the list for the presidents of having some of the highest inflation numbers in U.S. history, I have to say in some kind of way, and I think you guys will have to agree that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a metric. I'm talking about. So the fifth, we're doing five. We're grading President Trump off 5 metrics. The 5th metric is affordability. We saved that for last, okay? Inflation and affordability is directly connected, and affordability is what the American people feel. But I'm saying if we're judging President Trump first year off inflation, there is no way in the world you can say it's his fault. I think what the problem is, And I think the mistake that President Trump made is President Trump owned that inflation. He owned it. I have to be honest and say that he came out and said, I'm going to get the prices down on day one. And then I could play a video when he said, well, after he'd been in office for 6 months, he admitted it was going to be hard to get those prices down. And I could have told you the same thing. It's going to be tremendously hard to bring those prices down, bro. Almost impossible. You know why? Because if you go back and look every 20 to 25 years, the prices of goods raise. They rise. That's why gas isn't 50 cents a gallon no more. You see what I'm saying? Every 2025. So 2022, I guess because of COVID, that supercharged the inflation. The periodical inflation. COVID, I guess, is supercharged it. And now the prices, we go from going to McDonald's and getting the 99 cents double cheeseburger. That same double cheeseburger now $2, $3. So the people upset, we trying to get back. I think the mistake that President Trump made is by owning it, by saying that I'm going to get the prices lower on day one. I think that's his only mistake, and that's why he's tied to Joe Biden's inflation numbers, because I hate to upset you Democrats this morning. We got 5 metrics. We're going over GDP, stock market, jobs, and affordability, so there's going to be plenty of time for us to be critical of President Trump's economy. But I started with inflation because, in my opinion, it's the most difficult metric to measure. Because if you look at the presidents with the highest inflation numbers in U.S. history, Joe Biden has 6 points. Listen, look, when we get to jobs, Joe Biden had the best job numbers in U.S. history. President Trump inherited a 4 points. His unemployment rate from Joe Biden was 4%, which is the lowest in U.S. history. And President Trump's unemployment rate has risen. I think it's about 4.4% right now, which is about normal. It's good. 4% was not sustainable, especially with the way that President Trump's going to run his economy. But all I'm just trying to say, if we got to judge President Trump on inflation, inflation is right at 2.7%. Look, whenever we say it's the same amount as it was when he took over a year ago, what they're saying by that, that's because if President Trump would have came out and said, listen, guys, I'm going to do everything that I can to get those prices down. But those those prices probably ain't going to come down because they just raise every 20, 25 years. I'm not trying to say it right now because I know that's probably too convincing, but I'm saying if he would have had a convincing way to put that, then I think that would have worked more for the American people. Instead, when the legacy media pundits and the pundits on social media, the internet pundits, when they get out, they're going to be critical because he owned that. I'm going to get the prices down on day one. So they're judging him off of what his words. Is that understood? You know what I'm saying? So if I have to look at inflation and President Trump and I have to judge him on that 2.7% in his economy, I have to say that's really not that bad numbers. Even though President Biden got it down that low in the end, I'm saying he lost the election because of those prices and because that inflation directly. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that you guys to double tap the screen for your boy, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, guys. We got a poll question going. You know what I'm saying? And I will ask that you guys would participate in that poll. Our next metric, and we're going to look at in President Trump's economy, we're going to look at GDP, guys. Okay. So if I told you we're going to look at inflation and inflation isn't that bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, so 2.7%, you would have to give them at least a B, you know, because inflation was high, extremely high under Joe Biden. Now, if you're going to judge him separately, which the voters are going to judge him, we're not talking about how the voters are judging. We're talking about actual numbers. We're going to talk about that in a second. You talk about how the voters would judge him. Now, they're going to judge him off inflation and affordability, definitely. But I'm saying if we're looking at his numbers, what they look at right now, 2.7% inflation is not that high. Okay, guys, we on GDP now, okay? So, guys, we're looking at the presidents with the best GDP in U.S. history. If we go all the way back, let's go back to the best ever was Franklin D. Roosevelt, 10.1% growth. If you don't understand what GDP is, basically that means it is how much richer or how much wealthier you're getting. Gross domestic product. I don't want to break it down in financial terms. I want to break it down in voter terms, the terms that you can understand. If you have a business, okay, and say your business making $1 million a month, 10% growth quarterly, every 3 months, 10% growth mean that y'all making $1.1 million a month. Y'all making an extra $100,000 a month. 10% growth is fantastic. Really, in my opinion, anything over 3% growth is good. When you look at the presidents with the highest growth GDP in U.S. history who presided over that, GDP is a good indicator on how we judge presidents, on how they did their economy. Franklin D. Roosevelt had 10.1% average annual growth. That is phenomenal. That's unheard of. John F. Kennedy had 5.2. Lyndon B. Johnson had 5.2. Gerald R. Ford had 5.4. Those were like extreme. You're talking about golden years. You have a GDP, a president presiding over 4 years, and you got 5% growth. Those were years America did really, really well. Ronald Reagan had 3.6% growth. Let's look at the modern presidents, okay? Because the modern presidents are the presidents that will say, hey, you know, that we know. Ronald Reagan, we say Ronald Reagan was a good president. His GDP was 3.6%, and that was in the 80s. Bill Clinton had 4% growth. His GDP was 4% over 8 years. That's astronomical. And that's why Bill Clinton is so popular and people like him so much, and his economy was so good that GDP, it matches what people feel on the ground. Look at George Bush, 2.4%, Barack Obama, 2.3%, Donald Trump. Look, Trump had periods of time where his GDP was extremely high, but from 2017 to 2021, and I know you Republicans gonna say COVID, but I know I'm just strictly numbers. It was 2.3%. So his GDP was the same as Barack Obama's in his first term. Joe Biden had 3.2% GDP. So if you look at Joe Biden's numbers, his inflation hurt him, but his GDP was 3.2%. That's phenomenal. For the kind of policies he had, that's phenomenal growth. That was almost as much as Ronald Reagan. People don't understand that about Joe Biden's economy. If you look at President Trump's economy right now, he's at 4% growth, 4-point-something% growth, GDP last quarter. If you say, Ghost, you do the average of 3/4, the average is not, he's not at 4.3% growth. But what I'm saying, if he's touching those kind of numbers, and he promised us a golden year in his economy. How many of us heard President Trump promise that? I'm saying if he maintains that 4.3% growth, his economy is going to look better on paper than Bill Clinton's. Think about that, guys. That's unbelievable. Bill Clinton had 4% growth over his 8 years. I'm saying President Trump last quarter touched 4.3%. If he maintains that, that'd be the best growth GDP a president presided over since Gerald R. Ford had that 5.4%, and since 1977. I'm saying, so if we look at President Trump and his GDP, I don't like, how can we say it's bad? It's good numbers. That's what I'm saying. Y'all on this Republican and Democrats, this Bloods and this Crips. And I'm saying I don't do none of that. I look strictly at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. That's what I'm saying, guys. Y'all argue with me. Good morning, Titan Brew. Y'all let me know. Titan Brew, tell me where I'm wrong. I mean, if that GDP is at 4.3%, I don't care what kind of business you got. I don't care about what kind of company you got. You looking at 4% growth, that's good. And you talking about a U.S. economy when we talking about trillions of dollars, right? 4% growth, that's phenomenal growth, man. You know what I'm saying? So if I got to judge President Trump on the GDP, I got to give him an A. That's just facts. And I know the Democrats don't want to hear that. And I know the Democrats put up resistance to that. But the thing about Ghostwriter, what y'all can trust Ghostwriter for, is he's going to be fair. I'm going to bring y'all the accurate analysis of a situation. There's Republicans that I can name that I love, Democrats that I can name that I love. To me, it's neither here nor there what their party is. It's about the facts. And the facts of the matter is President Trump's GDP currently is unbelievable growth, 4.3%. Joe Biden's 3.2% was great. That was good. It was really good. It was almost up to where Ronald Reagan's was. Joe Biden, oh, Sleepy Joe, he's surprising you. President Trump hate on President Biden and his economy because of how bad his GDP, not his GDP, how bad those inflation numbers was. But some of that inflation you could put on COVID, some of that inflation you could just put on the time. It was time for prices to rise. He just got unlucky and presided over those 4 years. But what I'm saying, his GDP, Joe Biden, 3.2%, that's not bad, bro, for 4 years. How you feel? I don't care how y'all Republicans feel about that. But what I'm saying currently, today, President Trump, with that 4% GDP, President Trump, you get an A+ on GDP. Next, we're going to talk about stock market, guys. Let's talk about the stock market. What y'all think about the stock market? How y'all think President Trump looking on the stock market? How's the economy looking on the stock market? Let's look at the top presidents for stock market growth. So, frequently cited as having the highest stock market performance of any president, who would y'all put it in? Who y'all say it is? Y'all put it down below in the chat. Calvin Coolidge, 1923 to 1929, the Dow Jones Industrial Average more than tripled, over 200% growth during the Roaring 20s. Oh yeah, America's good years, the Roaring 20s. You see how the stock market, the GDP, all this correlating, because look at this, who next on the list? Bill Clinton oversaw the longest economic expansion in U.S. history at the time, driven by the technology boom. The S&P 500 increased by roughly 210% over his 2 terms. So President Trump, what you think you doing on the stock market? Bill Clinton did it in the 90s, boy. You hear that? Let's keep going. Barack Obama took office through the Great Recession, allowing for high percentage gains of the market recovery. The S&P nearly tripled, approximately 182 to 189% gain during his 8-year tenure. That's stats and facts. You can't argue with that. Y'all like that rhyme, the stats and facts. You can't argue with that. You got Bill Clinton, well, Calvin Coolidge, that was in the 20s. You got Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. On the list, they got Donald Trump, 2017 to 2021. One thing to be fair, President Trump was on the GDP list, so was Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? President Trump is on the stock market list, so is Barack Obama. You know, President Barack Obama, if you ask President Obama, he gonna say that's because of the economy he built was so good that President Trump took over and he just presided over what he built. You see what I'm saying? If you ask President Trump and the Republicans gonna say the only reason why President Trump's number wasn't the greatest in that first Trump presidency is because of COVID. So it's like, which one would you believe? But from 2017 to 2021, expected significant gains, particularly in the tech-savvy NASDAQ under President Trump due to tax cuts and deregulation, with the S&P 500 rising roughly 67 to 69% by the end of his term. And it probably would have rose a whole lot more if it wasn't for COVID, to be factual. Right now, stock market gains, President Trump, he again on the top of the list. You can't argue with facts. I'm saying I'm going and I'm looking, who got the president with the worst inflation numbers? President Biden appeared on the list. What's the president with the best GDP numbers? President Trump appeared on the list for his first term, and his second term, he got phenomenal growth. What's the president with the best stock market numbers? President Trump appeared on the list for the first term, and right now his stock market is even better than the first term. You can't argue with facts, man. These are facts. I'm saying regardless of the facts, now you Trump fans don't get too fast, because we got to talk about jobs next. We got to talk about jobs next, guys. And look, for jobs, I'm not going to get no stats for you, because President Trump's predecessor, we talked about this so much. He had an unemployment rate of 4% over 4 years. Joe Biden, that's the best in U.S. history. Let me say that for you one more time so you can understand. President Biden had 48 months, all 4 of his years in office. He had positive job growth. Every single month, he had jobs to the U.S. economy. That's phenomenal. It has never been that. But I think President Obama, through 4 of his years, he did that too. But I'm saying with President Biden, the thing is, he only served 4 years. His number's the best in U.S. history, point blank period. So President Trump taking over that, the measure of his economy and his policies, his GDP is better than Joe Biden's right now. He's got to maintain that, though. He's got a long way to go, though. Be honest with you. Be fair. Maintaining 4% growth in the GDP. His inflation numbers after 1 year is better than Joe Biden's. Joe Biden's inflation numbers were some of the worst in U.S. history. Joe Biden had stock market numbers that was almost as good as Ronald Reagan's, but President Trump's stock market numbers are better today and in his first 4 years, all the way around. So when we look at jobs, however, though, that's one thing that President Trump is lacking on. And when we start talking about jobs and the fifth leg of that economy, affordability, that's when we're going to have, because see, listen, this is what I'm saying. Let's go cook. Let go litigate. You feel me? If we talking about GDP, what voter you know finna go in a voting booth and vote off of GDP? Ain't no voters voting on no GDP. The 90% of voters, they don't even GDP. What you mean? What's GDP? The stock market is a little bit different. Those 401ks, people, but they could feel, they know their retirement. They sitting there watching their retirement. They watching it on their cell phones. They watching it grow. But I'm saying President Trump and them got to make sure they saying, hey, y'all see that? Y'all retirement growing? We doing that. Because a lot of people might not equate that to him. Now, those money people, the Wall Street, all those people, they kind of political too. Yeah, they equate the president to a lot of policies, what's going on in the stock market. But we looked at those numbers. That's only about 30% of the U.S. population who's actually putting money in the stock market. We're not talking about the SP 500 now. We're talking about the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ. You're only looking at about 30% of the U.S. population. But those people are benefiting. You know what I'm saying? They are benefiting, definitely. But as far as you looking at the jobs, President Trump he's been president from, we start looking at first full month from February, okay, to this is January. You're looking at about 12 months. Since he's been president, about a full year, man. State of the Union's coming up. And in that 4 year, he's had 3 months of negative job growth. 3 months of negative job growth out of 12 months. Listen, I know you guys are going to blame that on AI if you are a Republican. And that's true, because I'm saying after president, like the unemployment numbers for a president is going to be difficult, all the presidents, because AI is going to come take jobs as already is. But what I'm saying, just like you getting credit for saying that, hey, AI is taking some of the jobs, that's what's wrong with President Job. Well, they could say the stock market is an AI bubble too. A lot of people invest in money, foreign companies, foreign governments, foreign businesses invest in money in the stock market because America is leading in AI. So it's a give or take. You see what I'm saying? With AI, with COVID, with all of that, I'm just going straight down the middle by the numbers. And I could say President Trump, in my opinion, Titan Brew, has a lot of space to improve on the job numbers. What do I say on jobs? How easy is it for you guys to fill a job? Because see, jobs is different than GDP. Like I said, we went over the stock market. People feel the stock market a little bit more. But the thing about jobs is the regular, ordinary person feels the stock market. GDP is above most people's pay grade. $50,000 a year. How many of y'all are $50,000 a year less? Single man. Single man, $50,000 in America, $48,000 is not that bad. If you got a family, it's horrible. But $50,000 a year as a single man in America, I'm saying GDP is above your pay grade. You're not worried about no GDP. The stock market probably above your pay grade, unless you got a job with a 401k, but that's not helping you survive day to day. That's just for your future. But whether or not you could go get a good job or not, now that's something that all regular Americans are going to feel that. Y'all understand that? That's something that all regular Americans will have some sort of association with that. That's something that all regular Americans will go vote on for you or against you over. You know what I'm saying? Jobs. And our last thing, affordability. And see, this, I'm gonna explain this. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not like I'm helping President Trump this morning, but what I'm trying to tell y'all about affordability, I'm gonna tell y'all why he said it's a hoax. Hold on just a second, guys. Let me change a little things around just. Y'all give me just a second. Get situated for y'all. And I'm gonna explain to y'all why President Trump is saying affordability is a hoax. Because it's definitely not a hoax. The American people are definitely feeling the experiences, are feeling the difference in the cost of price. You see the prices, they're feeling that. But why President Trump is saying that it's a hoax, because if you look at inflation numbers, you look at GDP, you look at stock market, you look at his job numbers, he's saying, what's affordability? When did affordability become a metric that we judge a president by? What is affordability? It's not no stock market numbers. It's not no GDP. It's something that was created. You can't say it was created by the Democrats because President Trump, you acknowledged it. That's just to be fair, President Trump, you acknowledged that problem with that affordability. You said affordability. I mean, we could go back and play President Trump, your own words. You said affordability. You said it's a problem. Didn't you say that? Didn't you say eggs and groceries? Y'all remember at the White House, he had all the setups and the fruits, and he said, we going to get the prices down. He acknowledged it. That's the problem. But what I'm here to tell you guys today as Americans, to be all the way fair with you, the only way you can lower prices back to where they were, that first term Trump that people thought they were getting, the only way you could do that is what Mondami and them was saying, what VP Harris was saying. You got to regulate them prices in them stores. If you're not directly, I'm talking about as a government official, as the federal government, it's not directly regulating with their hands, physically keeping them prices down in the stores. You see how I break it all the way down? Physically keeping them price, it's no way them prices where they are. It's up there and stuck there. And I'm just saying, I wonder if President Trump knew that. If he didn't know it, it could seem like it's like a con job. Affordability. What's affordability? That's not a metric. Ghost, you said inflation. When I came in, the inflation, it's what it is. 2.7%. That's not bad for no president. Ghost, you said GDP. Well, Ghost, you said my last numbers in my first term, my GDP was phenomenal. Same as Barack Obama's 2.3%, and COVID wrecked it at the end. Ain't nobody was working at the end. To be fair, that was true. You say, but before that, my GDP was over 3%. You say stock market. Boy, you got to be kidding. My stock market numbers you see my stock from the first term and the second term, they even better. Now, jobs, that's something that he can't argue with. He had 3 months of negative job growth, but he fired a lot of people off the federal government. You see what I'm saying? We got reasons for why he did that. But affordability, and that's what's going to get him. Listen, like I said, most people making less than $50,000 a year, okay? They don't know GDP is above their pay grade. They don't care nothing about no GDP. What's a GDP? In your everyday life, and you got money, you trying to make it. You trying to pay your bills. You trying to get an apartment or buy a new car or put your family, your kids through college. What's a GDP? And you say stock market. That does help a certain percentage of Americans. And it's wise for us to tell Americans at this time to properly invest your extra money. If you have extra money, that's how we create wealth and create millionaires. But the average American making under $50,000 a year don't care nothing about no stock market unless the S&P 500 they watching their 401k that don't help them in their personal life. But when we get down to the things, even though his economy is good, his numbers are good, when you get down to the things that Americans care about, he got problems. And the Republicans gonna have to own that. President Trump, he introduced a healthcare plan. So, hey, we understand, okay, healthcare, that's a problem. Premiums triple. He introduced a healthcare plan and we get more money on our taxes. That's helping us. That's helping me. I'm finna get an extra $1,000 back on my taxes. That's gonna help me. And if you got kids, you get more than that. Helps you tremendously. That helps us. We got to be all the way factual. See, listen, if you look at it from a politician perspective, I got love and respect for Gavin Newsom, and y'all know Kamala Harris, that's my baby. From a politician perspective, they're going to have their views as Democrats and leaders of the Democratic Party. But I'm saying President Trump, from a politician perspective, him and Lindsey Graham and them, they got their views. J.D. Vance and Marco and them. But I'm saying as an American, we the people, how do we feel? Because that's what's going to matter in November. We the people. And I'm saying if we doing our taxes, and I'm going to get an extra $1,000 back on our taxes, people who got kids get extra, that helps us. As far as the jobs, he's got to work on that. 4.4% unemployment rate after his first year, that's not bad though. I know Joe Biden's unemployed, but it's not bad. Affordability, that's something that'll cost. You can have an economy to where his economic numbers, GDP, if he maintains that 4% growth, that's an economy that is good as Bill Clinton's and better than Ronald Reagan's. Stock market to match, so you know it's real. With that GDP, if he maintains that growth, and you could still lose the midterms, get slaughtered because of affordability, which really isn't even a metric in the economy. But it was created during Joe Biden's term. That's amazing to me. It was created during Joe Biden's term, inflation, when the prices went high. Hey, you could write an op-ed piece about that, right? Affordability. What is affordability in relation to the U.S. economy? Affordability, I'm defining it right now for you, President Trump. I'm defining it right now. Affordability was a crisis in which inflation, the prices rose in 2022 under President Biden. It was a crisis with high prices, in which the American people expected the prices to return to what they were. And for those high prices, it's not a hoax though, really. How many of y'all had problems getting a place to stay, rent? How many of y'all in here, ghostwriter, under $50,000 a year? You know what I'm saying? I'm a document preparer, and I made over 30,000, not punching the clock. Shoot, as a document prepared, this only my third year. I can't complain about that. You know what I'm saying? As long as I get this year 50 or 60,000, you know what I'm saying? Keep growing the business. I'm saying I'm blessed with that. $35,000 a year. So at 22 years old, y'all, I'm getting off the conversation. But it's my everyday life, my everyday struggle. That as an American, that defines what which politician gets power, who we gonna vote for, how their policies are affecting us. And what I'm trying to tell you guys, I know you Democrats don't want to hear this, but the facts of the matter is, if we look at the major metrics and how we judge a U.S. president, because you can't even look up affordability as a metric for all the presidents. You see what I'm saying? But you can inflation, GDP, stock market, and jobs. If we look at the major metrics and how we judge any president in the history, you're going to see President Trump's numbers amongst the best on his first term, and that's with COVID attached to that. And this term, you're going to see his numbers even better than they were the first term. How can you not say his economy is good? That's how you mess up as a Democrat, is by trying to deny the facts, or ask anybody in America, don't deny the facts. Because with that good economy, you could still beat him. Because the prices are high still, and the American people are having a hard time affording things. Look, his economy, what he has to do in these 4 years to be successful, besides being able to message and all that thing, to get JD to win in 20, he has to increase the wealth of Americans. That is crucial, and that's key. Listen, if we have a situation where inflation happened, the prices rose, they're not going to ever come back down to where they were. That's just facts. You in that situation, what you have to do for the American people is, you have to increase their wages. You got to put more money in their pockets. If the prices, look, if you go into the store, so before 2022, let's just say a price of gas was $2.25 where you live, okay? And say after 2022 and 2024, when he took over 2025, a price of gas is $3. Well, I'm saying if you can never get the price of gas back down to $2.25, those numbers are going to hit there. We can never get the price of gas back down to 50 cents or $1. Do you feel that? If you can't never get the price of gas, what you got to do is you got to put more money in people's pockets. So instead of them making them having $10 extra to spend, they got $20 or $15. So those higher prices aren't affecting them. That's the only way you could get out of this. And the reason why President Trump is in this, I will say it again, because he owned it. He owned the problem. You can't run from it once you own it. He owned the problem. I'm getting those prices down in day one. Personally, what I could say is, I could say he's paying attention to that crisis of Americans not being able to buy a house. Like I was telling you about my business in Miller Ray Legal, my goal is to buy a house. I'm trying to buy a house. That's what I'm trying to do. Having a hard time doing it. I'm the voice of the American people. The millions of us around this country who having a hard time doing it. A disabled veteran. I'm the voice of those disabled veterans who's having a tough time in a good economy. You got a good economy. You got good numbers on paper. That's why everybody will listen to me. Because I'm not going to sit here and bash President Trump when his GDP is 4. You got to be insane with 4% GDP. The American people, you could go out there and tell the American people anything almost, because they don't do the research, they don't know. So you could tell them the economy is bad. But that's why President Trump and the Republicans, people rebuff that, because you got 4% GDP. I'm not going to say the economy is bad. That's not what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say is that even though your economy is good, people are having a tough time finding jobs. And things are too expensive. And that's my take on President Trump's economy, man. I gave it to y'all off the dome. I gave y'all stats and facts to back up my analysis. And I did it in 45 minutes, y'all. Tell me ghosts ain't cooking. For anybody who want to go back and watch the content, they going to be able to see it. They going to be, that's just straight real. We went over inflation. President Biden's name is on the list for having the highest inflation numbers in U.S. history. And high numbers ain't good. That's bad. So he's in the low 6.3% inflation that hit under President Biden. That's worse, some of the worst in U.S. history. GDP. President Biden's GDP was higher than President Trump's was in his first term. 3.2%. Surprising. With high inflation, his GDP was good. President Biden's GDP was almost as good as Ronald Reagan's. Surprising. Unbelievable. President Trump's GDP, 2.3% in his first term, the same as Barack Obama's 2.3% in his first term. But his GDP today. Last quarter, President Trump's GDP numbers was higher than Bill Clinton's, which is the highest of the modern presidents since Ronald Reagan. Higher than Bill Clinton's. Stock market numbers. President Trump's number on the first, you cannot say that he's not good on the economy, because all of these metrics that I'm naming, besides jobs, and there's no metric for affordability, but all the rest of the metrics, in his first term, his numbers are among the best of the modern presidents. Y'all feel that? So I'm saying, I'm not going to say he don't have a good stock market. Those prices were pretty much what they were. To be honest, those prices are pretty much where they were when he took over. Where he and the Republicans are going to get demolished. Besides Ray Good, get off topic just for a second. The Democrats are good at positioning and against the Republicans, especially against President Trump. They figured him out. They know President Trump is aggressive and he'll overreact. So they're going to go out there and they're going to resist ICE. Because that Renee Good getting shot in the face, that was a huge mistake, a ginormous mistake that the Republicans are going to lose votes for over that. I mean, I could say that's the same thing I see really in the economy. It's like President Trump, it's like they're resisting him and they're going against him. And it's like he don't know how to handle that. He don't know how to handle that resistance. Because they resist. And I heard VP Harris, like I said, a Democratic leader, and they resisting him. They fighting his policies hard. President Biden can't do it, but VP Harris is doing it hard. Them Democrats are fighting. And we see it on the streets, a culture war. Yes, they are resisting him. As an American, as an independent, for me, this is so tough, man. Because this is my country, man, and I love my country, bro, and it's so tough. It's like, it's kind of hard. I don't know which way to go. I don't know which way to turn. Y'all feel that? Y'all understand that? It's like, on one hand, you have Democrats who support, like, they want to protect the immigrants and the people in their communities. They believe in immigration, and it's they're exercising a constitutional right to protest. Sometimes they cross the line and sometimes they go left, but that's their constitutional right. And on the other hand, you have the Republicans and President Trump, who said that there's too many illegal immigrants that was allowed into the United States. And he wants to remove some of those people and take them out the country. And it's just a battle over, that's immigration battle. A culture war is playing out. I said this before. President Trump declared war on the Democratic Party. He declared war on their institutions. I believe that is a dangerous precedent that is being set. I believe, and if you, I'm saying I know it's people who gonna stick with me, but for the people who come to watch this content after they realize how I could have those visions, I could see that is when the next Democrat come in and take over. What if you get a Democrat that's like President Trump? What if you get a Democrat who wants to send troops to Mississippi? Because he said, hey, Mississippi got the highest murder rate of any state in the United States per capita. What if you get a Democrat who goes after Republican institutions and a Democrat who doesn't support Israel and a Democrat, because I'm saying that's coming, who's militant, who's sending ICE to the rural communities? It's a culture war, man. I think it's a dangerous precedent. I think we need to bring that down. I think we need to tone all that down. What you guys think? I'm going to get down in the comments with y'all this morning. Happy Saturday, man. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, man. Blessed and thankful. You know what I'm saying? Republicans, independents, and Democrats. Y'all get down in the comments. I'm going to try to read it. Chris says only in the Democrat-run cities in Mississippi. Maybe so. But what I'm saying, Chris, is the American people, those numbers are the numbers. Maybe crime is bad only in Democratic-run cities in Mississippi, but it's a red state where the Republicans controlling both chambers of the state house, and they got the governorship. So that's a red state, and you got the highest murder per capita numbers in the state of Mississippi than any state. So what I'm saying is, you could get a Democrat who becomes president, Gavin Newsom or AOC, and they want to have a crackdown on the Republican cities that's crime-ridden. Or they want to have a crackdown on Liberty University. Or they want to have a crackdown on all the politicians who are getting paid money by foreign states. I'm saying it could get ugly, a culture war. I'm saying we need to tone that down, tamp that down. What I would love to see, Titan Brew, and I'm finna read your comment right now. What I would love to see Kristi Noem, and I would love to see Governor Walz sitting down at a table. You investigating Governor Walz. Look, I want to comment on this real quick, Titan Brew. Keep coming with your comments. I'm gonna catch you. I want to comment on this real quick. I heard that the Department of Justice investigating Governor Walz and Mayor Fry. You have to cut that out, President Trump. Y'all gotta cut that out. You have to cut that out. You wasting taxpayers' dollars. I'm saying, what did they do? That's the same thing, President Trump, they did to you when they said you incited a riot. You can't, so we sitting there watching them. How you gonna prove that Governor Walz did anything? The people got a right to protest. He a Democrat. He's supposed to oppose you. I don't know about if they're going too far, blowing the whistle. Maybe they are. But I'm saying you gonna investigate him. What kind of charges you gonna get? You, President Trump, y'all should have learned that from Letitia James. You tried to indict her 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 30 times, failed. James Comey failed. You ain't get no kind of prosecution. You ain't get no federal court in America to be brought into that political trash. I'm trying to tell you, ghostwriter, big paralegal. In the federal courts, we ain't got time for that political nonsense. That's children's stuff and games. In the federal court, boy, we care about one thing, and that's the dignity of the law, baby. We care about what that law say. We legal people. We don't care about your political games. You play your political games with yourself. This is a sitting governor of a U.S. state. If you got to listen, there's governors that's been arrested before. Illinois Governor Rob Boyovich or whatever, I know I'm mispronouncing his name, he got arrested. And he was in jail through Barack Obama. And if I'm not mistaken, President Trump, he pardoned him. President Trump, so a governor could get arrested. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, look, when they said that when they were saying that Governor Walz knew something about those Somalis, that's why President Trump got upset in the first place, because he said that there were Somalians in Minnesota that was defrauding the government. And he said Governor Walz either knew about it or was complicit to it. When he was talking like that, that's when I was like, hold up, man. Was Governor Walz? Is Governor Walz? You know, when he talking like that, that's when I'm thinking maybe it's possibly that there's something wrong. But I'm saying him going out there talking about the riots and saying to stand up to ICE and fight for your communities. What? You gonna investigate him for that? You wasting taxpayers' dollars, man. You overplaying your hand. There's no charges going to be brought against Governor Walz by no federal court. And where? A federal court in Minnesota going to charge Governor Walz of what? When they watched that ICE agent shoot that girl in the head. You should have did that beforehand. Where that game is right now, where it's at right now, what I see them doing is kind of handcuffing ICE. The court ain't going to remove ICE. They can't stop President Trump from enforcing the law. He ranks higher than them. Well, I don't know. He's the chief law enforcer in America, though. You see what I'm saying? You can't stop him from enforcing the law. But what I'm saying is they can tamp and tone down what ICE is doing, because what ICE is doing is kind of aggressive. He overly aggressive with it. And I know the Democrats resisting you. And I know it's like, you know what I'm saying? They just have an extra hate for. I don't know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? They try to assassinate me. They put these felonies on me. They try to lock me up like no other president goes. I don't know what's going on, but all I know is you got to control them ICE agents, and you can't be shooting no innocent agents. No innocent people. And you can't be having no Renee Good situations all the time. Titan Bruce says Obama deported 2.7 million non-citizens, and he didn't send ICE to Houston and communities to rough people up. Titan Brew, let me go back and get that comment, because I want to tell you that President Trump is chasing Obama's numbers, and that's facts. And I don't care what y'all say, he's chasing Obama's numbers. That's what he's doing. You know how I know? Because I hear the ICE agents myself in the thousands of videos that I consume to educate myself on this, to be able to come speak to y'all about it. I hear, did y'all get it? How many of y'all get? Did y'all get him? How many did y'all get? How many of y'all get? How many of y'all get? Numbers, that's what they care about. That's all they care about, numbers. Why would you care about how many people you snatched? Because they probably getting quotas that they got to keep, okay? So you giving them quotas, why? Because you want to catch. I'm telling you, I know how President, and plenty of people have bagged on him about Obama's smooth style and how Obama didn't have to say, they're eating the cats and the dogs. And how Obama didn't have to say, I'm going to build wall that made Mexico pay for it. And how Obama ain't got the Gomer Powell looking Border Patrol dude on TikTok. Obama didn't have to do none of that clown stuff. And he deported more people. You know how Obama did it? This how Obama did it, Titan Brew. He took his Border Patrol. He wasn't in the cities. He came up with the Dreamers Act. Because those civil rights groups, they were at his neck too. Because he snatched more people than any president in modern time. So what he did was he came up with the Dreamers Act. He wasn't really fooling with those people who had been in communities for 20 years. If President Trump had 5 illegal immigrants at Trump Towers right now, and they came and snatched Miss Hernandez, that Don coming to Don Trump and Ivanka, and she family, and she illegal. I know President Trump, you know, he big goated. He gonna get her papers. But I'm saying, it was illegal, and they snatched her, and they got a relationship with her. Bro, that's a human factor with anybody. President Obama, he just smarter than that. He said, I'm not gonna be in the cities with these ICE agents fighting against American citizens, getting my Democrats mad at me. I'm not going to do that. This is what I'm going to do, Ghost. Look, President Trump want to close the border. I got a different way to do it. Nah, we going to have closed the border. And we going to leave little portholes for them to run through. And I'm going to see all my Border Patrol agents and ICE agents what they meant to do. You know why they got on camouflage? The police don't wear camouflage, regular police. You don't need camouflage. What you going to camouflage in buildings in the middle of Harlem? You in the middle of Harlem, what you got camouflage on in Harlem for? Or in Lower Manhattan? You see police with camouflage in Lower Manhattan, you gonna start freaking out. What they camouflaging with the building for? They got the wrong colors, boy. They got green camouflage. They got beige camouflage because they be down there on the border. That's what that camouflage is for. That's why they got camouflage uniforms, because they supposed to be on the border. So what President Obama did is he had them down by the border and he left them holes open for them cartels to run the people through. And when they ran the people through, he was picking them off. That's how his numbers got high. Picking them off. President Trump, you can never get them numbers. Because President Trump is trying to go pull people. It's like they rooted in the community. Joe Biden and them opened up the doors. They let the people get to the sanctuary cities, and they rooted them. They don't want them to leave. They were ready for President Trump to resist him. So, yeah, it's going to be harder for you. And no, you ain't going to get that many numbers. And you going to get lawsuits, and you going to get handcuffed, and you going to get a 20-something-year-old with one eye. Because the ICE they put the canister in the boy eye, girl gets shot in the head, just a bunch of craziness, and your number's going to be lower than his. That's an L, President Trump. I'm just being fair. That's an L. President Obama, they out hustling you. They out hustling the Republicans on that stuff. And I'm telling y'all, when that Democratic Party get that power again, y'all going to see how they out hustling y'all. You going to see it. They outmaneuvering you. Y'all beat them in the election, but hey, you can't win them all. They won 4 out of 5 in the popular vote. They just got focused on the wrong thing. They should have been focused on us and our lives. We call it affordability. Listen, ghosts will give you a good prognostics of what's going on in the community and how the regular, ordinary man feels. I'm telling you. I got a good feel. Like, if you start talking about Illinois, Southern Illinois, I done been out there. I done stayed out there for a minute. I know what it is. I know how the people feel. I know what the people think. I lived it, bro. Travel the states. We the People tour. Those 5 months, the greatest months of my life, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, boy, Nashville, the Rockies, and the Smoky Mountains. Went through Kentucky, through Illinois. You talking about Chicago? I've never been to Chicago. Been to Illinois, never been to Chicago. Never been to Detroit. I stayed in Michigan 34 days. I'm talking about, bro, like Cleveland, New York City right now. And I'm talking to the people I met. I know the minds. And the thing about it is, if I was a Republican, I would have a slanted view to the right. Y'all feel that? If I was a Democrat, my view would be slanted to the left. But because I'm an independent, when I'm in Walmart talking to that farmer in Southern Illinois, and he explained it to me that the entire state of Illinois is Republican, but this one little spot on the right upper hand side of the state called Chicago, and that city is controlling that whole state. It might be 5 million people in the state. It's 8 million people in Chicago, but that's a big rural state. That's all Illinois is a big farm. And that one city, Chicago, in that corner is turning that whole state blue. I know that because I've been there. So I'm giving y'all a fair analysis. You know what I'm saying? President Trump, he just in a tough situation. He got a tough... Because them Democrats standing all 10, they resisting. They believe in immigration. They believe that's how you grow economy. The Democrats fundamentally believe that we are not having as many children as Americans. So your economy is not going to grow because you need people, a workforce, to grow the economy. You see what I'm saying? So the Democrats believe we're not having as many children, so you got to bring bodies in from other places. And then you're helping humanitarily, the human cause. It's a lot of human factors in immigration You see what I'm saying? But President Trump and them, I mean, he is enforcing the law. It's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? It could go, you could look at that either way. It could go either way. Let's see. Alma says Canada is hiring doctors and nurses from the United States. Weird Texas Deplorable says 400,000. Let's see. He says 400,000 Americans, 400,000 traitors aren't Americans. I don't know what you mean by traitors. I'm not sure about what you mean. I wouldn't call either side a traitor. That's a blood and a crip mentality. And President Trump have y'all on. That's not good to do that. You see what I'm saying? That's how you keep the rhetoric going. I would call them patriots. I would call a traitor. Someone who goes against America, not goes against the Republican Party and goes against someone who goes against America. That's who I would call a traitor. If I was a Democrat, I wouldn't look at a Republican as a traitor. This is a two-party system. Y'all understand that? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, legal people, it's like we are above where y'all are as the Republicans and Democrats. Because it's like y'all miss something, like y'all are kind of slow or something. It's a two-party system. It was set up as a debate. One side debating against the other side. That's how it's supposed to be. You get too personal, too much angst or whatever against someone because they disagree with you politically. And now it's like the system's almost collapsing or it's not working right because people are beefing and fighting each other over. You see what I'm saying? That's not how it's supposed to be. Titan Bruce says Canada opened trade with China and rejected purchasing American surveillance systems that have been directly connected to the Pentagon and watch over Canada's northern Pakistan. I think there is an unintended consequences of President Trump's actions. And this is what I mean. You're going to put tariffs on the entire world, including your friends. I know a lot of people hate on Israel, but after 9/11, the nation of Israel was among, if not the very first nation to stand by the United States side. That's called a friend. After 9/11, all NATO countries, if I'm not mistaken, but one or two sent troops to fight for and with America. Those are your friends. So if you put using tariffs, which is a tax, and you putting that on the world, you exclude your friends. When he came in starting off doing that, I think that was a mistake. And I think he's trying to bully and listen, let me explain something. Playing devil's advocate, I got to look at both sides. I understand what President Trump is doing in the long term or the bigger picture. It's bigger than just trying to bully Canada, or it's bigger than American imperialism. What China and Russia is doing, it all comes back to China and Russia. What China and Russia is doing, you see Russia over there trying to take Ukraine. You see what I'm saying? The minerals. That's what Putin's doing. Putin's a bully. He's bullying Ukraine right now. We all see that, right? And then China's trying to, or wants to, or gonna do it to Taiwan. So what America's doing is America is reciprocating the energy. You know what I'm saying? America is just looking strong, being strong, and matching what Russia and China's doing. You want to expand? You want to take people's countries? Hey, look, Putin, let me show you how to remove a leader from a country. I've been wanting to say that. Because Putin went in there against Venezuela. Putin went in there against Ukraine. And he said he was going to remove Zelensky. They thought Zelensky would be gone in 48 hours. President Trump and them, the United States, removed Maduro instantaneously. The same night we go in, the same night you going. That's the power of the American military. You want to keep, especially against Venezuela, all these countries are out that America. You notice there's a link. Every country you see America is going after is attached to China and Russia. Y'all don't understand that. Y'all don't see that. America's going after their friends. America's trying to break up that alliance. So Venezuela is one of their friends. Iran is a big ally of Russia and China. You see what I'm saying? America's trying to break up. It's deeper than what y'all see on the surface. Much deeper than what y'all see. You remove Maduro, that's the largest oil, it's tactical, in your backyard. The largest oil reserves in the world. Why you gonna give it to your enemies? You talking about oil, you know, oil, don't say oil, just say money. That's money. It's a gold pot. The largest oil reserves in the world. That means that if they weren't messing over the money and they weren't corrupt, they should be richer than the Sauds. They got more oil than the Sauds, bro. Do you understand that? Than Saudi Arabia, Venezuela do. Why are you going to give it to Russia or China? You going to give all that money to your ops when they being aggressive? That don't make sense. Iran, if you could strike, Iran sponsors terrorists all over the world. Putin know that. She know that. They still friends with him. That's what I'm saying. Why you gonna man? So I understand America's moves in a lot of those situations. If you guys haven't liked the video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Also, guys, I don't have no sponsors. So if you guys want to donate to the channel, you know what I'm saying, you want to help out, or if you want to get a super chat, if you guys want to give a gift, anything like that, y'all hit that button with that $ in it, and your donations are much appreciated. Titan Bruce says our GDP blows away any other country's GDP. Of course, there will be trade imbalances and foreign countries protecting their industries against the United States. And that is absolutely correct. Our GDP does blow away any other country. And I'm saying because President Trump is president right now, you have to give President Trump credit for that. Point blank, period. You have to. America is still America. America is still powerful. America is still everything that America was and will continue to be. Point blank, period, in my opinion. But you got the president who's presiding over that. You have to give him credit for that. And America's GDP, that 4.3% growth, man, that is phenomenal. You have to give him credit for that. I know it's going to be hard for you, VP Harris, Kamala. You know what I'm saying? For them, because that's not their job. Their job isn't to bring y'all like real, like unbiased analysis. That's what y'all are getting right now. I don't know where you're going to get this from anywhere else. Look, Joe Rogan, he talks politics, but he's not all the way political like Ghost is. You see what I'm saying? Tucker talks politics. He's not all the way political. Kind of more so than Joe is, I would say. And Candace really, she not really too much political at all. I'm saying Ghost is one of the political people. But I give you unbiased analysis. It's unbiased. It's fair and it's balanced. It's truth and it's facts. And I don't know where you get that from anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like that GDP, that's phenomenal. Stock market, phenomenal. Inflation, I really say you can't blame him because the numbers are lower than what president I could see if he came in, inflation was 2.7 and then now it's like 5.6 due to his tariffs. That's not what happened. He maintained it at the same level. He didn't lower it. That's a 2.7. That's pretty good. That's pretty good to keep it there. Joe Biden had it there, about there when he left office, which was good. You know what I'm saying? Jobs, President Trump and them could work on some. But it's that cost of living where the prices rose under President Biden, that thing that we call affordability, that's what's going to give the Democrats control over Congress coming in November. You know what I'm saying? President Trump, he owned it. But I'm fair about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just give you the straight, true facts and the balance. You know? Immigration, President Trump, he has the legal authority to enforce the law and to remove illegal immigrants and aliens from our nation. You know what I'm saying? And on the other hand, I see where the Democrats coming from too. I'm kind of in the middle. Those people who've been in America for longer than I say 10 years, bro, you gotta let them be. It's like he trying to snatch everybody. Even the kids that are, they just ghost. They just sending immigrants across the border to have a baby, and then they're American. Man, I understand that. Like, it's just some of those things. I just will leave it alone. But he doesn't. He wants to be great, but I'm saying there's a price with that. If you engage in a war with these people, there's casualties on both sides. And in my opinion, President Trump is in a culture war with the Democrats, and therefore there will be casualties on both sides. Because you engage with them, President Trump, and you going out there and face them, yes, they will resist you. And yes, there is a price to pay. You can't have a war and just you putting everything on them and you ain't getting nothing back. No, you gonna get something back too. You see what I'm saying? That's the way he chose to govern, though. Rick says no, he abuses his authority. Everyone is allowed due process, citizen or not. I kind of agree with that, though, in a way, Rick. Everyone is allowed due process, and that's facts. And I'm saying he does overplay his hand. He does overstep his bounds. He does overstep his authority on a lot of things. And that's just all the way facts, guys. If y'all haven't liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for your boy. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Happy Saturday, everyone. It's your boy, Big Ghost Rider, man. John says, if you're here past your visa, you got to go home. You got to leave. If you're here illegally, you got to go home. But, John, that's why y'all are having the fight. Thank you for the donation, baby. Y'all can hit that gift button. That's that button with the square. I think you could, if you want to give a free gift or a donation, or you can hit the button with the $sign in it and give your boy some money. Your donations are much appreciated. John, what you saying is the law. As a legal person, it is incredibly hard for me to look. I would say this immigration issue is for me. It's the issue in which I'm most undecisive and on the fence, because I could go either way with this. VP Harris could give a speech, or Barack Obama, that they give with passion, laying out an eloquent argument on why they want to keep the immigrants here, and I'll side with them. And then, John, you or President Trump or Vice President Vance could give a speech on why you got to remove the illegals from America, and you give it to me eloquently, and I'll side with them. It depends on who I like President Trump, who I'm in the room with last on immigration with. That's one of those issues that I'm on the fence with. If you're talking about enforcing the law, yeah, you got to enforce the law. But at the same time, these are human beings that we're talking about, that you snatching. I'm saying you're not snatching up. I mean, if you do it to criminals, they criminals, killers, murderers. But I mean, you're snatching up people at work. People at church, you snatching up pregnant women. I'm saying to me, there has to be like, okay, we're not going to mess with the women or the children. Ghost, they all got to go. Look, if I was president, they all got to go legally, but just don't do the women or the children. It's like there's got to be some kind of compromise. The Democrats need to compromise too, because the law is the law, but the Republicans got to compromise as well. And that's what we're having, a problem, a clash of cultures, a culture war. There has to be some kind of compromise. Mr. Good Citizen, good morning, good morning. He says Mexico is stolen land. Also, I could say all of the world in one way or another, you might consider it stolen land or inhabited land. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I would say the entire world. You could say Mexico is, you could say America is, you could say China is, you could say Russia is. You know, we all kind of immigrants, really. So, I mean, I could see the argument for it, but The Republicans are going to always stand on the law when that, like, you come into that, what they said is there's millions of people are waiting to come into America all over the world. Millions of people that are coming into America legally, all from all over the world right now. Millions. So if you're saying people coming in illegally, I mean, I guess when Joe Biden and them was in here and they let the people come in, and I guess they want them to stay here, but President Trump, I guess he got them scared because he's saying the largest deportation in U.S. history, but I don't know. That's what you got, man. What can I say? Where can I stand? I mean, like, the law is the law, and you deport people and all that good stuff. But me actually seeing, like, a pregnant woman getting snatched up, or Renee Good getting shot in the face, or that young man who got blasted in the face with the tear gas and now he only got one eye. I'm saying I don't know how I could support that or be for that or get behind that. And that's the thing that's hurting President Trump. That aggression or overplaying his hand is killing him. You always listen, the Republicans, the MAGA, the people who are with him, they're going to stand 10 with you. But those people can't even get you 50% of the vote. Even with independents and moderates and some blacks and some Hispanics and some tech bros and some young people. Even with them, they can't get you over 50%. That's only 47% with MAGA, with them. So that's what I'm trying to say. And it's like, you don't consider this. He don't consider this because I just got to enforce the law and I got to do this and I got to do that. But the Democrats let them people in the country, they want them people to stay. So they fighting you. I mean, it's just hard for me. Like, as an independent, the moderates or the swing voters, seeing that Renee Good stuff, or seeing that you're not going to stand with President Trump. You're not going to vote with him on immigration. The border's closed. It's like the American people, the voters, they're quick to forget. They're soon to forget. Ain't nobody coming across the border. He's snatching people from the country. You feel bad for sister so-and-so that got snatched from the country. I'm saying it's just the climate. It's just so easy for them to move away from him on immigration, even if he's doing what's legally right. It's so easy for people to side with the other side with him on immigration. But half of that, 50% of that is his fault. I would say more than 50%, 70% of that is his fault. You're too aggressive. That's what I'm saying. The Democrats, it's like they running plays on him, and you're not going to see it unless they get power. You're going to see it's going to all come to what they've been doing to you this whole time. They running plays on you. They know you super aggressive. They know you over aggressive. They know you too aggressive. What happened with Renee Good? You think that surprised Governor Walz or Mayor Fry? They said it was out of hand way before that happened to her. It been out of hand way before that. You see what I'm saying? They weren't surprised by that. They probably expected that to happen eventually. And that's what I'm saying, guys. I don't see how President Trump wins from that situation. I don't see how that benefits him. I don't see how that benefits Republicans. Y'all feel that? Your economy good. People still struggling, though. Hard to find jobs. Immigration, if immigration is an issue, because I'm saying you close the border and you snatching people. So you reversing the numbers. So it's not really an issue no more. How many of those people you got out the country or not is a whole nother thing. But the way the Democrats going to make an issue, immigration an issue, is your enforcement. That's how immigration is going to be an issue in 2026 in the midterm elections, is the way you are enforcing the laws. You would think if we think a Republican or a Democrat were having a debate on immigration, okay? Right now in 2026, you would be saying, hey, look at how many people we deporting people. We close the border, zero border crossings. No, that's not what the debate gonna be about. It's not gonna be about how good you're doing on immigration. If a Republican and a Democrat had a debate tomorrow on immigration, it's gonna be why you shooting people in the face. Those riots, bro. Listen, those riots is them. I don't know how. I don't know if why the Republicans don't riot when the Democrats start doing stuff. They don't. I guess the Republicans do riot about their issues in different ways, Proud Boys and stuff like that. This is just America, man. It's just the other side, and they resisting you. And you have to understand that. Look, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. You see what I'm saying? Elon understand. He been the richest man in the world for a minute. He understand being the richest man in the world. You got bad that comes with the good, and you got good that comes with the bad. And part of the bad that's coming with this good is like you being president and going after the Democrats and resisting them and saying they evil and they attacking their institutions and Antifa and to me, it's not about whether or not President Trump is right or not. I don't have nothing against Governor Walz, neither here nor there. Nothing against him. If I think that, I thought, so you saying that people heard me say stuff about Governor Walz, like VP Harris picking Governor Walz. It's not because I got a problem with Governor Walz. I think he's a good human being. He's a good person. In his personal life, go talk to his children and talk to the people in his family, and that's how you gonna find out he's a good guy. But what I'm saying, the reason why I said that about VP Harris, because I just think that Josh Shapiro would be a better pick than Governor Walz was. Andy Beshear would have been a better pick. So I'm just saying that Governor Walz, as far as if I got to choose a governor, if I got to choose one, but saying that I got something against him, I don't have nothing against him personally. But I don't think Governor Walz is doing anything different than what any other Democrat in any other city would do. They're organized. They don't want you taking the immigrants that they allowed in the country. They don't want you taking them out the country. I'm saying you just gotta look, it's not fair. It's not cool. You could say as Republicans, we don't do that to them. All of that might be true. Governor Walz might have let the Somalis get money from Americans, and all of that might be true. He might be not the best, toughest governor. All of that might be true, but it still don't change the facts. You still gotta deal with the facts. And the facts are they resisting you. What you gonna do? That's the facts. They're resisting you. What you gonna do? It's that simple. You gonna shoot a girl in the face unarmed? You could say she ran her car at ICE officer. Yes, she shouldn't have. And she paid a price for doing that. But keep shooting them in the face and see that immigration. All the good that he said he did or he might be doing on immigration, you keep shooting people in the face, that good ain't gonna mean nothing. I'm trying to tell you. All people gonna remember or know is the stuff that you did that you shouldn't have done. Being too aggressive in your policies. Rob says, yeah, it tells me. Hold on a second. Why is it Democrats that celebrate if someone being murdered where Republicans honor and say, remember the soul we lost? I don't know why Democrats celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk. Why did you as a Democrat celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk? That's a question for that I want to ask you guys. He was a white supremacist. I mean, if you say so, he might have been. He said some deplorable things about black people. What he said about what Charlie Kirk said about Martin Luther King, I wish I would have known he said that when he was alive. Cause every time I came on the live stream, I would have called his name like I do Nick Fuentes. Oh, Nick Fuentes. Little race baiting dude talking about he like Adolf Hitler. Nick Fuentes, when I see you. Hey, Nick Fuentes, no, I done already said if I see Nick Fuentes, y'all, if I run into Nick Fuentes in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? I might bop that boy. Real talk, though. That's how I would have talked about Charlie Kirk. But I don't want to see Nick Fuentes get shot in the neck, bruh. He just stupid, and he got the wrong views. And I talked to him about how stupid your wrong views are. He might think I'm stupid, and I got the wrong views. But if I want to see Charlie Kirk get shot in the neck, then I wanted to see Martin Luther King get shot in the neck, if we being fair. Because why you could shoot theirs and they can't shoot yours? So we don't shoot neither one of them. Don't shoot Martin Luther King and don't shoot Charlie Kirk. Don't shoot neither one of them. Okay, Charlie Kirk was the racist white dude. Okay, so I didn't want Martin Luther King to get shot. I don't want Charlie Kirk to get shot. I wish he had a platform. He debated plenty of black people all the time. Van Jones, CNN, bro. You know, the black community got mad respect for Van Jones. He said he was going to debate him the day before he died. You see what I'm saying? He said he was going to debate Charlie Kirk. And Charlie said he would have loved to debate him. That's just facts. I'm saying, like, if you saying that he was a white supremacist or a racist, he might have been. He probably was. But what I'm saying is, don't celebrate his death. You gonna celebrate? Because if they kill somebody that I'm fond of, you see what I'm saying? They assassinated somebody I'm fond of. I wouldn't want them to kill somebody that I'm fond of, a Democrat that I like. Don't kill no Democrats that I like. I'm going to want to bang you. Real talk. I ain't even going to call no names because I ain't going to speak that into existence, but don't kill no Democrats that I like. You feel that? So even though I might not have ate a cheeseburger with Charlie Kirk, I talk about him a lot. You got to understand, I listen to both sides. I listen to Don Lemon and I follow Candace Jones and Kamala Harris. That's like complete opposites. I'm in the middle. You got to understand that. What keeps me in the middle is the two opposites. I'm talking up there now. If it wasn't for the two opposites, I'd be on one side or the other like y'all, but the two opposites is what keeps me in the middle. Y'all don't understand that. It's hard for me to explain because who I am and what, because it's too complex. So yeah, that's how I stay in the middle. That's how I get the right perspective. By getting the two extremes, I'm going to go right in the middle, and that's where I'm usually right at. You know what I'm saying? Titan Bruce says, what about dogging black pilots? Yeah, he was wrong for that. What I said, I wouldn't eat no cheeseburger with him. I wouldn't eat no cheeseburger with him. That's what I said. Dogging back black pilots, he said that deplorable stuff about Michelle Obama and black women. My mama is a black woman. But I would have loved to debate him and make him look stupid and talk him down. Punk him. On the regular, I would have punked him every day. I hear Nick Fuentes says he went on Tucker's show. I never heard or see Nick Fuentes, but he went on Tucker's show. You say, oh, Tucker, he must be a conservative. No, I watched Don Lemon too. I told y'all about them opposites. I am a conservative, but I watched Don Lemon too. I watched both of them. You see what I'm saying? So I'm watching Tucker and I saw Nick Fuentes on that show. And that stuff I heard him say with my own ears, yeah, boy, I bopped that boy. He said he see a black dude on one side of the bus. He gonna teach his daughter to go the other way. I see that white boy, I'm gonna tell her when she see you on the bus, go the other way. Shoot, oh, serial killer. Yeah, I don't like that hatred. That's why I said I think the Republican Party, if they want to expand their party, what they have to do, there's not enough white people in America no more for them to. That's why you went in by four. You lost five elections. You only won one popular vote. And the Democrats are winning the popular vote. What the Democrats are saying and doing, Titan Brew, is resonating better and more with the people. Point blank, period. So I'm saying the Republicans got to change their message and start going to minorities. That's why President Trump, yeah, I don't care what you say. That's why he won more black voters than any other president before him. That's why he did it. You got to. He still didn't get over 50%. He needed them black voters to win. Because if they would have voted for Kamala, he needed those Hispanics he yanked away from the Democrats to win. Because if they would have voted for Kamala, you get that? He needed the young people. Those are people who usually vote for Democrats that he pulled from them. That's what I'm saying. Like, there is more white people in America than minorities. But the number of minorities is growing. And you got to remember, a lot of those white people, more white people than Democrats, than black people or Republicans. Or more white people than Democrats, I think probably Hispanic people, depending on the state, are Republicans. So Hispanics probably about what and what, though, overall. But what I'm just saying, though, like, JD Vance, you got to denounce Nick Fuentes. I'm not even going to speak your name. You 39 years old and you educated as you are, JD? That education you got, bruh. Bro, you better. This dude over here talking that crazy stuff, bro, trying to make himself a name in the Republican Party. You better spit on that boy. Yeah. Vivi, you better spit on that boy. Marco, y'all spit on Chris, all them Republicans. Y'all spit on Nick Fuentes. That's what you do. Charlie Kirk got assassinated. He was connected with President Trump. We're not going to have no more people like that connected with President Trump. The rest of them, you got to get spit on. But we're going to keep them alive while we spitting on them. Keep them alive. Don't kill them. You just make them be nothing. Just stay on his head. I don't care if he got 2 million followers. Let him keep his 2 million racist followers. At least we could tag the 2 million racists. Thank you for that donation. Y'all feel me? At least we could tag the 2 million racists. Let him keep his little racist people he got with him. Who cares? Nobody cares. Don't kill him, though. Let him live. That's what I'm saying, y'all. We ain't going to kill him, though. We're going to let the boy live. Appreciate the donation, y'all. Y'all can hit that button. There's a gift button. Right next to the button with the $sign, y'all can hit the give button. I appreciate your gifts, too. Appreciate your donations, man. Appreciate you everything. Appreciate y'all coming in here with me this Saturday. Y'all listening. You know what I'm saying? Interested in my analysis and my take on the situation. We started off talking about President Trump economy, and we ended up on immigration. Immigration is a hot issue. You think we should be saying immigration? President Trump said he gonna have the largest deportation in U.S. history, and I said no, he ain't. If you don't believe me, go back and look at my live streams. When I heard he said that, I told him no, he's not. You're not even gonna deport more people than Barack Obama did. Democrats resisting him. Even if the Democrats resisting him, I don't think. Well, one thing he did listen to, he did build up ICE, so he got the numbers to do a lot more than any other president, to deport a lot more people. He got the manpower to do it. But the Democrats resisting him. Still, you ain't not deporting no 10 million people. You're not going to deport 5 million. You're not deporting 3 million people in 4 years. How many he deported year number one? Somebody look it up for me. Probably around 600,000 or so. You times that by 4, he getting close to Barack Obama's numbers. Look at how big ICE budget is. But he's not going to deport that many people. Democrats have mass incarcerated the most black men since 1960. They probably have. Republicans have too. You can't say that's just a Democratic thing, though, to incarcerate black people. Don't do that. That's a police thing. So you might have a Democratic mayor, Democratic governor, whatever, but I'm saying that's like a police issue in a local community. You can't really put that on Democrats. Because I'm saying Mississippi, like they used to be Democrats back in the day during the racist days, but they're Republican today. You know what I'm saying? Not picking on Mississippi. We could talk about Alabama, Louisiana, any state. Look, I'm from Mississippi, and I know how we get down where I'm from. It's just small, but I know, we got them head busts. That's how we get down. You feel me? So I'm not hating on Mississippi, but I'm saying the murder rate is higher than any other state per capita. That's not hatred. It's just real. You know what I'm saying? I'm from down south. I'm in New York. I got a lot of love for the Empire State. You feel me? City of Kings. If you know, you know. But I'm saying, like, I am from the South, though, so, I don't hate on the South. James said 2.6 million are gone. You dreaming, you wish. About 800,000. But 2.6 million, that is not correct, James. You are dead wrong. I just looked up the numbers probably a month ago. It's like 500-some thousand. So I know he didn't deport. But listen, President Trump and them, no hate on them, no hate on Secretary Noem. They trying to do it, but they had 2 car washes in Los Angeles mapped out for ICE. So they pull up in their unmarked cars, pull out, jump out in their camouflage, and they running up in ICE. They spend the whole day out in Los Angeles. They wreck 4 cars. Some of their own cars, to get 6 arrests, and they let loose 4 of them. 4 of them were American citizens. They're arresting more American citizens. It's like they're not doing what deportation. They're not deporting nobody in Minnesota. They fighting the protesters. They on crowd control. I'm saying the Democrats, in my opinion, they winning this immigration argument against the Republicans. Like the optics of it, they're winning it. President Trump don't care about the optics of it. He's just trying to enforce the law. He's just trying to get the people out and go against the Democrats at the same time. But he don't realize that's going to cost the Republicans a lot of votes in November. And he should know what happens if he loses control of the House of Representatives. He should know what's coming. So it's like you got to think about and realize your actions, they're coming with a price. There's a consequence behind those actions, y'all. A big one. If y'all haven't liked the video, double tap the screen, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. It's a Saturday, hour and 45 minutes, cruising with Ghost Rider. We've been cooking the whole time, man. Giving y'all fair and balanced analysis, man. President Trump's economy, his economic numbers, all the numbers, we've been giving it to y'all. Big Ghost Rider, man. Big Ghost Rider. What y'all got, though, man? What y'all got? Somebody said crawling on your knees for white nationalists. Let me tell you something, man. Let me explain something to you. You know I'm a civil rights fighter. I done more for the black community. I done more for veterans, disabled veterans, than you will ever know or ever think about. I done more for the people with disabilities. Boy, I got 3 lawsuits right now today against 3 cities in America for failing to train their police officers, from the Southern District of New York to the Southern District of Mississippi. So don't get on here and try to lecture me and school me because I'm fair and in the middle about not being black enough, because I'm blacker than you. I do more for the black community than you ever have. When I wrote 1 lawsuit, I'm a civil rights fighter, boy. Ain't nobody pow-powing or gow-towing or taking up for no white nationals. You don't shoot them in the neck. That's all I'm saying. I know who said what he. When have you ever heard me say some despicable trash? He said was right. I just told you that with Nick Fuentes, I'll slap the taste buds out that boy mouth. I would have told Charlie Kirk the same thing if he was alive, but I wouldn't have shot him in the neck. What you don't get about that? I'm old school. I'm gonna take him behind the building and I'm gonna give him a beating. That's what you do to a white supremacist. You turn 10 black dudes on them. And the next time Nick Fuentes come out talking stupid, when you catch him by himself, turn 10 black dudes, just keep letting them get that beating. You beat that out of them. You rehabilitate them. You don't kill them. That's all I'm saying. You act like I'm on their side. I'm not on his side, you numb nuts. Don't challenge my blackness. I done more for the black community than you ever will in your life, boy. You sitting over there friends with the police. I'm suing them. We not the same. You sitting over there trying to be in the code, and I'm suing the code. We not the same, boy. I'm out here in my car right now, standing all 10, boy. Paying the consequences. You going in your bed, sleeping in your bed at night, being comfortable, boy. I'm in my car because I sued police departments because I stood 10 on civil rights and on justice. Things the ACLU do, boy. Don't school me on no white nationalist, boy, when you probably a white nationalist and you black. y'all remember who that was? Who that was? What's your boy name, man? He was a black dude, but he was playing like he was in the KKK. What's his name, man? I forget his name, man. I forget that, man. Yeah, Charlie did live and die by his own words. I can't say that. Who trying to bring him back from the dead? Ain't nobody trying to bring him back from the dead, bro. Ain't nobody. I'm saying, look, bro, we ain't trying to see somebody get shot in the neck, bro. Cause see, if it was somebody when Renee Good got shot in the face, and that officer walked by and said F and B, what the Republicans was doing, they should have been laughing, huh? President Trump and them, because they know the girl married to a gay girl, she married to a woman. They know she everything that killed Charlie Kirk. She didn't kill Charlie Kirk, but she everything that killed. You get that? So what they supposed to be doing if you came around the corner, the cop said F and B, he shot her in the face, and President Trump and them laughing. So President Trump should just order the ICE agents to just start executing transgenders and executing people, Democrats and leftists. No, numb nuts. We gonna stand 10. Murder is wrong. Don't kill. Thou shalt not kill. You need the law. You need the statute. What state you in? I give you the statute. Don't shoot the boy in the neck. Numb nuts. That's all I'm saying. Don't shoot him in the neck. You just don't know how to deal with somebody like that. You don't know how to solve the problem. Bang, I'm gonna shoot him. He got what he deserved. What? So when they shoot one of ours, what we gonna say? Because I ain't gonna want to hear nothing. You shoot one of ours, I want to burn this. I want to burn every city in America down. You shoot one of my civil rights people that I love, what? You gonna touch which one of the ones that I love? I'm gonna want to burn every city in America down. You feel that? So I'm just smarter than you. Nah, don't shoot them because he gonna be trying to shoot us. That's what a war is. If you saying that, you gonna go to war and just take out all, you not gonna, you sound like the Taliban. You sound like trying to kill the Taliban. You not gonna exterminate. Listen, racism is not a person. It's a thought. Can you understand that? You cannot take a gun and shoot and kill a thought. It's gonna be, someone else is gonna have that thought. I know y'all don't believe in God. Y'all don't believe in the devil. You don't believe in spiritual energy. And that's a negative spiritual energy that the devil can spread and just give to somebody else. You could shoot Charlie Kirk and you got a Nick Fuentes. You could shoot Nick Fuentes. You're going to have another racist and another skinhead and another racist. You're going to shoot half the country. Oh, well, let's do it. You sound like Adolf Hitler now. That's what I'm saying. That's not how you do that. You just come get ghostwriter. I'm going to show you how to do that. But don't you ever challenge my blackness, boy. That's a mistake. I promise you. I see them doing that to Stephen A. Smith. I'm not Stephen A. Smith. Because, see, a lot of y'all just pipe that black stuff. but you don't live it. You won't pay one consequence. You'll be over there with the police department. Oh, snitch. Running with the police against your own kind. And you'll get on here, told Black Power. I seen it. I could call people's names. But he over there with the police. Do you know if you over there with the police, that's the Jim Crow stuff right there. That's where Jim Crow came from. Oh, Black Power. Bro, don't talk to me. Don't you ever in your life try to do that. Jesse said Charlie Kirk was not racist. That's what I'm saying. Some people feel like he wasn't. I don't know. He said some things, though, to where I can see why people say they racist. You know what I'm saying? Redwood said black people are more racist than white people. And yes, a lot of times they are. I don't care what you say. That's facts. I'm around it. It's a bunch of racist white people, and it's a bunch of racist black people, too. Y'all all just racist. Or a lot of people just racist. That's the problem. They call me a racist. I don't care. It's funny how I'm a white supremacist lover, but when I was in Michigan, just 2 months ago, I was a racist. 2 months ago, they labeled me a racist, but now I'm a white supremacist lover. No, I've just got the right balance. I'm in the middle. And you can't understand it, and that's the problem. I wouldn't want to see a bunch of black people start shooting white people. I don't want to see that. No, just like you see the white people standing in the black people protecting them in front of other white people, I'm going to be the black person standing in front of that white person. I'm going to tell you, this is wrong, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm a legal person. I care about right and wrong, bottom line. I'm not no crooked lawyer. I'm a real one, a good one, a fair one, a Christian one. I care about right and wrong. It's not right for them white people to gang up on that black dude, and it's not right for that black dudes to gang up on the white dude. Either side. Y'all need to get saved. You need Jesus. That's the problem. Most of y'all need to get saved. Need to sit down somewhere. Real talk. Guys, if y'all hadn't liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, guys. Y'all know what time it is. Legal Wars Live, baby. We got 10 minutes. 10 more minutes. We hit 2 hours on all the freestyle streams, baby. We running for about 2 hours. Guys, we got some gifts in here today. I ain't got no kind of donations, though. If you guys want to donate to the channel, man, y'all know what it is. I could rock out with y'all for as long as y'all want to, man. I'll be right back to close it out. If not, thank y'all for coming and kicking it with your boy on this Saturday. Big Ghost Rider, man. What y'all got? Bro, I'm going to have to do a race stream, bro. Y'all always in here talking about some race. My boy said, gee, I remember all these black countries in Africa enslaving all the white people. Don't you understand how blank stupid you sound calling a black man racist when you're white? Like a little kid. Who you think sold the white slaves in Africa? All right, white Africans. The Panthers will not shout first, watch and see. The main reason that he hates Trump is because Trump is white. That is not true. I don't hate Trump. That's stupid. That's retarded, bro. I don't hate President Trump at all. I don't hate nobody. I don't hate Republicans. I don't hate Democrats. Y'all the ones that's hate. I'm not hating on nobody, bro. At all. Now, I don't speak in tongues. Somebody said they hate Trump. You hate Trump. I don't hate President Trump. That hatred is one of the worst things you can do, man. It controls you. Love frees you. You don't have to love them, but don't hate them. You need to take some. The thing is, we take it too personal. We got too much feelings in this stuff sometimes. That is the problem, because if we all believe for real, there would be no racism. That's true. But it's hard for us to get there, though, my brother. It is hard for us to get there when you have racist people. That's why we need to call those racist people out as soon as we see it. It's funny if conservatives use Malcolm X to support their arguments. If Malcolm X said the same thing about conservatives, they'll never invoke his name. That's so true. I don't know why they use Malcolm X, though. Because I guess because Malcolm X was a Muslim and they feel like Malcolm X was like the most controversial person that they could use. I guess that's why, instead of Martin Luther King. Well, Malcolm X still was fighting for black rights. He just was doing it in a different way. And Malcolm X wasn't killed by the white man. He was killed by a black man. Malcolm X had went overseas and he saw how the Muslims was living in the Middle East, and he came back and said the Reverend Farrakhan was a crook or something like that. That you don't do that. You don't do that. Don't speak against Louis Farrakhan, and you a Muslim. What? So that's what happened to Malcolm X. He got caught up in the game. It wasn't no white people who killed him. It was black men. Man, whatever you look, if you say that, bro, you got to get out my stream, bro. You going too far. He said Martin Luther King was preaching peace. Try to start the clock over. I'm keeping time of the clock. If y'all want me, I'll stay on here as long as y'all want to. Y'all got to donate, though. You going to have to donate. I'm not staying on here without no donations, man. Not longer than 2 hours. I appreciate the gift. I need some cash money, some cash flows. Bailey says, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Yes, sir. Amen, amen, amen. That's what's wrong with the world. We not loving God. Game says, stop begging. I'm not streaming for free, boy. It's not begging. I'm not streaming for free. You feel me? Who come on here for hours with you for free, man, giving y'all this A1 analysis? A1 analysis. You feel me? I can't understand that. Of course, the guy on the screen is just another fake Democrat type, if you say so. I got to pin that one. I like that. I'm a fake Democrat type. Game, listen, if I am, Game, why you up in here, Game? We going to time you out, Game. I'm going to let you go think about that. We're going to give you about 30 minutes. Now I'm going to give you 10 minutes because I'm not going to be live in 10 minutes unless I get a donation. You feel me? So, Game, we'll get you, let you go think about that for a second. Blue says, I don't believe in God, but that doesn't stop me from having morals and common sense. But that's you. I believe in God. Come from Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Me having morals and common sense, you could pat me on the back all you want to, but I'm a glorify my creator. His name's Jehovah Jireh. That's who I believe in. You could get your morals and common sense from whoever you got yours from, but I got a creator. His name is Jehovah Jireh. And he gives me everything. That's what I believe. Ghostface, what's up, my boy? I seen you in here yesterday. He said y'all have a good day. Open the history book before we make the same statements. I'm going to make Ghostface, if you still in here, I'm going to add you as a moderator because that makes so, bro, I'll be trying to tell him. Ghostface, that's how I be knowing what's going to happen because I just go back and look what happened the last time he was president and the Democrats took over. Why would it be different? They out there this time with whistles trying to fight him and immigration. As organized as they are in them cities, you already know when they get back in control of the House, they got some plans for him. Ain't gonna make us look stupid. Watch. But that's what I'm saying, President Trump. Y'all better pay attention to what y'all doing. Y'all lose control of Congress, man. Woo! Lose control of the Senate too, President Trump. I think they gonna try to move you out the way. It ain't funny, bro, but it's just real. It's the game. They gonna try to move you out the way, bro. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Oh, my mama. What's up, Jack? Titan Brew, man. Look, channel membership's $2.99, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stay on here with y'all as long as y'all want me to be with you, man. Nate said, sad but true. It's so true. Y'all see what they did to him the last time, bro? You know, if they get control of Congress, bro, even if they get control of the House, bro, I'm telling you, I'm talking about they could start calling investigations, bro, get subpoena power. Ooh, it's cooking. In all 50 states. I'm telling you, they going to stand 10. Gavin Newsom said they going to make him a lame duck president. You already know what time it is. Somebody said Trump the throat goat. That's not funny. That's not funny, though, man. It really ain't. It ain't funny, man. You know what I'm saying? And Bailey said, fact, God loves us for who he is, not for who we are. That's true. But you got to accept him. That's how you get that love. But he still loves you, though. He created you. But I'm saying that if you want to say it like that, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody said, don't follow my own religion. I don't follow no religion, boy. I'm going to put you in timeout. That wasn't that bad, bro. I don't follow no religion. I'm not religious. You're talking about following a religion. That's why people going to hell trying to follow a religion. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. You on what religion you follow? Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that your preacher or your religion say. But I'm not a goofy, bro. Somebody said, pretty sad seeing how these ignorant people streaming. They have no idea what politics work. Well, you please enlighten us. Yeah, he took political science, y'all, in college. He did. The guy talking, please enlighten us, Sigma Freud. I'm sorry, Sigma. I ain't trying to hate on you. I'm just being real. Somebody says religion divides. It does. It really does. That's why we don't need no religion. We should have never had no religion. Jesus Christ is the light of the world, period. Christ is king. Over. End of story. But you can't stop other people from what they believe. I ain't trying to make you believe in God or Jesus. You ain't got to. You gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna stand before that great white throne, whether you believe in it or not. Somebody said Trump is questioning authority. Nah, it's the other way around. Christ was crucified because he taught people to question authority. Joseph, I don't know about that. Christ was crucified because that's what was. It was time for him to die for the sins of the world. That's what that's about. Titan says, if you're following a belief system, then follow it the way the book recommends. Be peaceful, empathetic, and compassionate, just like the religion suggests. I guess if you say so, Titan Brew, that's the way to do it. Joseph say millions of people fighting for federal power over each other just hands power to large corporations. That's what they do. That's why Bernie Sanders and AOC so powerful. Tax the rich. It's January 2026. Last January 2026, I was talking about going to California, right? I got a tour coming again, outdoors tour. Guys, I'm a whatever, get an apartment, buy a house, whatever I'm gonna do, whatever. But I'm saying before, during, or after that, I'm gonna do another outdoors tour on the West Coast, tax the rich. We almost at 10,000 subscribers. Though the merch coming, the Ghost merch shirts coming, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all look out for Ghost, the merch, and look out for them tax the rich shirts. The merch coming, baby. Tax the rich. Yeah, Bailey, you right. The finished work of that's Jesus. Accept the finished work of Jesus. That's how you become a Christian. Tyler, we're not doing none of that. We gonna get you out the channel. You can't say nothing about God or Jesus on here, or no kind of disrespect like that. I don't tolerate that. Somebody said he died for nothing. Yeah, we gonna get you out the channel too, man. We don't do all that disrespect. Congress is the government and not us. That is true. But blue collar, what they is supposed to be the people's house. He says Congress lets us they're trick us to think that they are the government, and we are not. Yeah, we're supposed to be the government. That's facts. We are. We are the not supposed to be. We are the government. That is facts. But Congress is supposed to be our representatives, the people's house. Congress is supposed to be the closest representatives to us. The president's one man. Congress over 500 people. And they're supposed to look like what America looked like, represent us. Titan says both Biden and Trump are simply too old to be president. I agree with that. I agree with that 10,000%. We need younger people in position of power. Even the people in Congress too old. That's what Bernie Sanders and AOC saying. That's why they got 1,000 candidates running across America. Nancy Pelosi retiring. And for that, she 80-something years old, should be running for re-election again. That's so true. So true. Joseph, I'm not going to argue with you about what Congress is supposed to do. Joseph, you look like a bot. Hey, y'all, who in here think Joseph a bot? Milligros said Jesus told the disciples once he resurrected dead people will start, once he resurrected, people will start religions in his name, and what he meant was fake religions. Yeah, like I'm not for no kind of religion. Like people, even the term Christian, that's not in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? I'm a follower of Christ. You could call me whatever you want to. I believe that Jesus suffered, he bled, and he died on the cross for my sins. I believe that he rose again the third day, sitting on the right-hand throne of God. And I believe that accepting Jesus and his payment, his blood, his payment for my sins is how I be saved. His grace and my faith, that's what saved me. I prayed and asked him to forgive me and save me. Point blank, period. There ain't nothing you could say that'll change my mind, move my mind. I don't care about no religion. I don't care about no church. I don't care about the Baptist. I don't care about Presbyterian. I don't care about Muslim. I don't care what your title is. That's what I believe. Point blank. It's simple. It's easy. Somebody says Walmart gets $25 billion from SNAP, tax the rich, and get it right back. Yeah, you get it right back, and we gonna tax you again. You gonna get it back, and we gonna tax you again. You gonna get it back and tax you again. You gonna get it back, we gonna tax you again. We taxing the rich. That's what's coming. What you don't understand. Listen, this is what I'm saying. What also you forget about AI. So say that Walmart got 500 employees. When AI come, they gonna make the same amount of money or more money with 200 employees. You see what I'm saying? When AI get prevalent, they gonna make the same amount of money or more money with over 50% reduction in the workforce. So now you got 50% of the people in America who can't go get a job nowhere. And Walmart's still making the same amount or more, probably more money. Cause those humanoids, they ain't gonna need no breaks. You feel me? The humanoid don't need to smoke a cigarette or make a phone call or can't make it to work because they got to watch the baby. The humanoid in the back building in Walmart, in the storage room, waiting on the morning to get turned on and go to work. You feel that? So I'm saying, what you going to do with all these unemployed people? You got to tax the rich. That's coming. That's the future of not only American politics, but world politics. Because the unemployment numbers in 2033, 2035 is going to be 10%, 15% or better in America. And the rich are going to be getting richer, and you're going to have to do a government stipend. How you going to pay for it? Tax the rich, baby. That's what's coming, 2026. Ghost Rider. Shout out Big Band and shout out my baby AOC, the queen. My baby AOC, the queen. Tax the rich. Oh, Joseph, you said ignore where the funding go. Well, that's going to be on the politicians. I'm going to trust the American people to pick the right politician. All Ghost could do is tell you to enact the right policy. And the right policy to enact moving forward is taxing the rich. You got to trust the American people. Who they going to choose? If they choose J.D. Vance, you know what Ghost going to say? Tax the rich. If the American people choose Kamala Harris, if the American people choose Gavin Newsom, if the American people choose my queen, AOC, Bronx, stand up, baby. You know what we gonna say? From the coast of California all the way back to New York, tax the rich, baby. Oh, yeah. If y'all had liked the video, double tap that screen. Y'all broke jokers. Now, I'm just playing. Yeah, exactly, Joseph. Funding them with federal funds. You need to stop funding them with federal funds and tax them. That's all I'm saying. Ain't nobody trust politicians, Joseph. What else you gonna do, though? I'm saying, what else you gonna do? We ain't got no other move. But I know one thing we gotta do. We gotta stop giving tax breaks to these rich people, and we gotta start taxing them. They don't get no more tax breaks. They get taxed. No more breaks. You get taxed extra. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who worth over $100 million, you gotta give up 3% of your wealth. That's right. Robin Hood. We gonna come take. Hey, y'all, let me tell y'all a story. So Mohammed bin Salman, he's MBS. He's the crown prince of Saudi Arabia. So he gets all the richest people in Saudi Arabia inside this hotel, and he shake them down. He say, you worth 100 million, you doing this, you got your money in this, you involved in this corruption, or you involved in this, you got to give us a certain amount of money. He shook them down. And he used that money and he gave it to his people, the Saudi Arabian people. Because a lot of them getting stipends from the government, they're not working, they're so rich. Yeah, that's what he did. Tax the rich. We're gonna take your money and we're gonna make sure that everybody eat. Period. Tax the rich. That's the future of American politics. It's coming, baby. 2026, Ghostwriter. Tax the rich. Look, hey, Bernie Sanders and them, because I'm gonna try to, that's gonna be my saying. Y'all gonna know me for that. You gonna say tax, you gonna see the shirt, tax the rich with Ghostwriter. It's gonna say Ghostwriter, signature. John Hancock, tax the rich, Ghostwriter. Who wrote that? Ghostwriter wrote. Every politician in America, I'm going to tell them the same thing. That's what we need to do. That's the policy moving forward, taxing the rich. I don't care what party you in. We got Steve Bannon saying it. We got Steve Bannon, so whoever JD's advisors are, if Elon going to be JD top advisor, Elon, we got to tax the rich. Point blank. They already cut taxes. They ain't cutting them no more ever in U.S. history. From here on out, we taxing them. You said New York struggling, bro. What planet you live on? New York struggling. Show me them numbers. I know Texas is fine. I don't know about Florida. So many people moving out of Florida. Show me a city in the world with more billionaires or millionaires than New York City. Yeah, a federal budget. Yeah, we gonna pay attention to a federal budget while we increasing it off that money we getting from Elon and Jeff Bezos. Joseph, you talk like you a rich person. Joseph, if you don't make $100 million a year, you can't speak for them. You over there on their side. That's what I'm saying. These people, it'd be the turncoats that'll be in here acting like they the most liberal person and they the biggest turncoat. They over there gal powering with the billionaires. You know what I'm saying? You got politicians, they taking the money from the bill and they come out acting like they on our side and they over there with the billionaires. You fake. I'm real with it. They know they were calling me racist in Michigan. They know I'm black everything, all black everything. But I ain't gonna let you shoot no white supremacists in the neck around me. I'm a legal person. That's murder. Nah, you can't kill them around me. We could take them out back though. When we finish with him, he ain't gonna be no white supremacist no more. Bring him to Ghost. I'll send him back to you, Van Jones. He won't be a white supremacist no more, but he'll be alive though. You might like him. You might invite him over to your barbecue when I finish with him. He ain't gonna be no white supremacist no more. I'm gonna keep him alive though. Educate us where it go, Joseph. Where trillions go to Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare and to SNAP. Where trillions go? All the money, we know where all the money going. The entitlement programs. Where else the money going? Military to ICE. Where the money going? We know where the budget goes. What you talking about? Tax the rich, boy. You ain't getting out of these taxes. He's trying to talk like he knows something about politics to get out of getting taxed. And you ain't even, he on their side. And Joseph probably makes $62,000 a year with 3 kids and a wife. Joseph, yeah, it is going to the rich. We're going to take it from them. That's what I'm saying. A lot of government money does go to the rich. We're not stupid. We know that. How we don't know that, though, is what I'm saying. You think I don't know that. You think I don't listen to the Young Turks, boy. You don't think I watch the Young Turks, boy. You feel me? Ghost is very smart. I know that circle. Where Elon get his money from? I know the government giving the rich people the money. The government's picking and choosing. I know all this. We still gonna take their money and we gonna get a politician that we believe and trust in that's not gonna give money to them. Like AOC, boy. Tax the rich. It's coming. If she ain't president in 2028, she gonna be president in 2032 if the Republicans win. I don't care what you say. She young. She know what's going on. She know what we trying to do. That's our movement. That's our movement. AOC, our queen, baby. Tax the rich. That's what time it is. Y'all getting taxed. All that stuff Bernie Sanders was been teaching, it's gonna come to fruition. Now is the time. We taxing y'all. It's coming. It's coming. It's a lot of policy changes that the young people are for that I'm not for. Like they stance on Israel. I'm going to stand on Israel. I know it's coming. I'm going to end up boxing somebody over Israel because I'm standing with Israel. 10 toes. If you got to change BB, you change BB. But I'm standing with Israel 10 toes. I'm going to box somebody over that. See, that right there, all the young people, they're against Israel. So I'm not with them on that. You know what I'm saying? Like BB do some boneheaded stuff, but that's still our people though. What I'm saying is that tax the rich? I'm with them young people on that, and it's coming. Tax the rich. He said, "This why you got your job. We don't need no large Look, them large corporations going to exist, whichever tax. We don't want to hear that. Whatever tax policy you have, that corporation not going to stop existing because you taxed them. If you take 2% of Elon lost, I think I seen he lost $45 billion in a day. He made 2 or 3 times that since then. If you take that man money, if you take 3% of Elon's money every year, he's still going to be the richest man in the world. Because he already there. Tax the rich. Joseph, listen, that's Joseph, we can't do that, man. I was giving you a time, Joseph. I like the discourse, I like the argument, but you can't be using words, Joseph. I ain't calling you no names like a little kid. That's what we trying to get over, because he gonna call me stupid. I'm gonna call him stupid. You stupid because I don't agree with you. You stupid. You stupid. You see how that go? And then it escalates. I'm not gonna do that with you, Joseph. Learn how to hold your emotions, boy. Because somebody disagree with you, I don't care what you believe in. We taxing the rich. That's bottom line. My stupid idea is tax the rich. They getting taxed, period. We poll the American people in 10 years and see what they say. And then come back to me and say, yeah, you was right. I don't even want to hear it. Tax the rich. Oh, he said that book, Tax the Rich, he bought it a couple years ago. That's right, baby. That's what's going to happen. That's what's coming. In the days of AI, when that business, Walmart, have 500 employees, they could do the job with 100 employees. They could do the job better with more production. Those humanoids will outwork a human being. Those robots are going to outwork humans. That AI will outwork humans. Do you understand that? So when they come and they say, hey, we could just invest an initial investment on humanoids and AI, and on labor costs, we could save 40% of our budget. So they're going to be making more money. Sometimes they're going to increase, in some businesses, a lot of business, increase their profit by 2 or 3-fold. With AI and humanoids. They're making more money, and they didn't share 400 jobs. The person at Walmart that fired, they can't go somewhere else and get a job because everybody's sharing jobs. How they gonna survive? The government gonna have to give them a stipend. It's coming. Just because you can't see it don't mean nothing. Tax the rich. That's the future of politics in America and across the world. We coming for them rich people. You can all the dummies who want to stand with the rich people, you can stand with them. We coming for you. Tax the rich. He said Dems got rid of manufacturing jobs while President Trump ain't brought them back. That's all he been talking about, bringing them back with the terrorists. Somebody says they agree with my take on AI, Thomas, because, bro, I'm telling you, that's what's going on. And so if, Thomas, how else are we going to be able to survive or move forward if you got the AI and the humanoids coming in? I did a live stream on it right now. I think Amazon shed over 10% of their jobs. This is 2026. The humanoids ain't even working right. They got humanoids that's working, that could do they training the robots to do everything you do in the store. And you gonna need a break. That robot don't need a break. He gonna do that job better than you. Them robots ain't gonna be in there arguing. They ain't even gonna be in there talking. They just gonna be getting that work done. And then people can invest the initial hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to get the technology. Just like Walmart got machine learning equipment in their store now, they got the machines that check people out without no humans. You know how many people Walmart didn't have to hire anymore because they got the machines in the store without no humans? So imagine when they get to the point where they can actually get humanoids and robots to do the job. What? And make more money. They ain't gonna be getting sued. No civil rights lawsuits. No, they ain't gonna be what? Oh yeah, they gonna use them robots to make that money. Just like they starting to do it right now. Amazon and them shedding jobs right now. They starting to shed jobs. I'm talking about they got they got AI cranes. They don't need humanoids. They got cranes, autonomous, what they call them, autonomous. And a lot of warehouse, they got cranes that do the job with no humans. Them cranes in there running by themselves. They already got the AI coming and working. What you think they gonna do when they gonna get rid of it? Oh, you fired, we don't need you. It's coming. That's the world that we coming to. So we gonna have to have an economic plan, government stipend. Yeah, President Trump, you right, investments, but AI, those investments, that stuff gonna die down. And you gotta keep on maintaining that economy. There ain't no other way behind them 500 people, them 400 people that Walmart don't need anymore. That money y'all was paying them labor costs, we gonna need that. Because them 400 people that you don't need no more, they sitting at the house and they got to get fed. So yeah, socialism, that it's not going to be socialism if you got to do it. AI is going to force us into a form of socialism. It's going to force us into it. I can't help because y'all can't see it. I can see it, baby. That's the future. The young people and older, that's the future. Their political stance, AOC the queen, tax the rich. I don't care how you feel. That's what that is. Yeah, it's funny. I don't care. It's funny, but that's what it is. She is the queen. Who else the queen? Who else the queen of progressives? Bro, you could say Bernie Sanders, but Bernie Sanders is the king, but look how old he is. So who gonna take the mantle? Just like J.D. Vance. If you say the Republican Party, you say Ron DeSantis, bro, J.D. Vance, Ron DeSantis, I don't see him beating no J.D. Vance in no primary. I'm sorry. I don't see Ron DeSantis beating J.D. That Charlie Kirk, his widow, she got the googly eyes over J.D. Turning Point already endorsed him. And they ain't even 2-3 years from a presidential primary. And they already endorsed him. Elon, he like JD. He get behind JD, bro. So you got the money and the ground game. JD is the future of the Republican Party. He's 39. He the youngest one. Even if DeSantis run, JD ain't going to be finished. JD's the future. Even if not in 2028, if not in 2032, JD is the future currently today in 2026 of the Republican Party. And AOC is the future currently today of the Democratic Party. That's facts. If you don't understand that, you just don't understand that. Let me educate you. Nah, we don't do that, man. We don't go get no. We don't be violence. We need to chill with the violence. Yeah, that's what I say. We male gross. We should all be able to have conversations. Bottom line, we all should be able to. That's point blank. Period. And if we can't, that's what the problem is. We gotta fix that. That's true. That's true. Hey, first place, we gonna put you in timeout. Not too long. You know what I'm saying? Just about 10 minutes. Let you come back with a better attitude. Yeah, everybody do think President Trump, not everybody, just the MAGA people are his supporters. Yeah, I already know. Open up warehouses in Canada. I already know. That's true. Weird Texas. There are 1,000 different ways of thinking about a bunch of different stuff. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's Saturday, man. It's 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. You know what I'm saying? It's we got a little snow outside. I'll show y'all this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see they push the snow to the side of the road. You guys know this in the smaller areas in the Hudson Valley. In New York City and places like that, they'll probably get the snow all the way up off the ground. It's snowing out here, though, guys. Y'all can see it on the trees. That's how you could tell. And then on top of that, you could see it falling from the sky. But you see it on the trees. That's how you know it's snowing right now. And it just hadn't been snowing in some days ago. Because in January up here, bro, it's snow on the ground all the time. But yeah, guys, that's my time, man. I appreciate y'all kicking it with your boy, man. Riding with Ghost Rider, cruising with Ghost Rider Saturday. This is like episode number 30, man. We've been getting it in. We'll be live again next week on Monday. Of course, I'm not streaming tomorrow on Sunday. We'll be live on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So I'm not going to be streaming every day next week, but I pretty much did it this week. You know what I'm saying? I'm popping in conversations, freestyling the information. What I'm going to do like I did the numbers on the GDP, you know what I'm saying? Letting y'all know those kind of numbers like that. I can't freestyle that information. I got to research that. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? If we just doing a regular live stream, what I do is I just consume a whole bunch of media. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's legacy media or whether it's coming from internet, I just consume a whole bunch of media on the topic I'm going to talk about. You know, I got a really good memory and I just, give y'all my analysis on the subject that we're talking about. So today we talked about President Trump's economy after the first year, the numbers, State of the Union. He's going to get up there and he's going to tout a good economy. When he's touting a good economy, he's looking at numbers like GDP we went over, looking at the inflation numbers, looking at the job report. He's looking at the stock market. That's how you judge a presidential economy. He's not going to look at affordability because that's usually not a metric. But affordability is a metric with the voters, and it's more important than any other metric. You know what I'm saying? So we talked about that today. We talked a little bit about AI. Of course, we talk about religion. We do all the time. I'm a Christian. People know this. You know what I'm saying? I believe Jesus suffered, bled, and died on the cross for our sins. I believe that the blood Jesus shed is what washes away your sins. I believe that me as a Christian, I'm no different than anybody else. Somebody was talking about following God's. I don't know which one of God's laws. I don't have nothing about anything that I'm doing that I don't follow. Like taking smoke up the nostrils, that's your law. If you can't show me that in the Bible, that's not God's law. That's your law. Me vaping, that's your law. I vape, y'all. You see what I'm saying? Tell me something God said in his book that I'm not following. That God said, not your church or your preacher or something that y'all believe as Christians that's not in the Bible. Like Christians used to believe you got to wear black church shoes. Black Christians used to believe you got to wear church shoes every Sunday. And the ones who come in church on Sundays with tennis shoes on, they used to look at them like they were going to hell or something. You see what I'm saying? Don't tell me about your traditions or your group of people. Tell me about the word of God. I live by the word of God. I don't live by your man-made religion or your man-made rules. The people who follow you and who behind you who living by your rules, hey, that's on them. I'm not hating on them, but why you hating on me? Because you must be doing something wrong. That's why. That's all I could think. You probably doing wrong, but I don't have time. God said the devil's accuser of the brother. And why am I spend my time accusing the brother? Why are you spending your time trying to look for people who not right with God? Who you telling about Jesus? Who you winning to Christ? Because that's what you're supposed to be doing as a Christian, not condemning other people on a vertical live feed. You need to be getting on him, encouraging them people to get saved about Jesus. You coming out here trying to argue with a dude who telling people about Jesus. Where your channel at telling people about Jesus so I could tune in to your 8 views? That's what I'm saying. I just want to see. I want to figure it out. But people attack me, that don't mean nothing. I don't care nothing about that. You have churches. I heard Candace Owens say this. Shout out Candace Owens, man. #1 podcast in the world. You got churches that have become completely militant. They got military leaders and CIA infiltrating the churches. The military that infiltrated the churches. You got churches that's military. You got this church is a military church, a CIA church. You know what I'm saying? The dude he really in the CIA, he really military. Bro, what? Bro, ain't none of this got nothing to do with God. And you trying to put a slant on it by God, like follow these rules, but you really following the government or some military stuff. I don't know what they got going on. I ain't got time for your religions and your organizations. I'll let Jesus deal with that. I'm telling people how they can become Christians and live for God with no kind of strings attached. I don't need no $10 from them. When I tell them if I want $10 from them, I'm going to talk about President Trump and VP Harris. I'm not going to talk about Jesus and ask for no money. I don't need $10 from them to tell them about Jesus. I just want them to put the drugs down and pick up Jesus like I did. That's what I did. I was hooked on opioids for 20 years. I mean, it's been 20 years I've been clean. No more opioids. I was hooked on them. Couldn't get off the couch because I used to take them. I want people to stop fornicating and start following Jesus. Your sons ain't fornicating. Your son's sleeping with women they ain't married to while you up in here talking about what people, because most of y'all, you got people in your own family that's not right with God that you need to be helping while you up in here talking about me. I'm saying, bro, Mr. Good Citizen, I ain't studying that devil. These devils. You know what I'm saying? He said Timothy McVeigh was a Christian. No, Timothy McVeigh wasn't no Christian. He said he was a Christian. Anybody could say they're a Christian. Watch this, Mr. Good Citizen. I'm a millionaire. Does that mean I'm a millionaire? No. Timothy McVeigh was a murderer. Those are people. God said we know what a murderer is. We know what a liar is. God said they aren't Christians. They want to inherit the kingdom of God. But where that say that in the Bible about vaping? That's fake religious stuff. I know, Mr. Good Citizen. I know what you mean. But Mr. Good, we need to tell them about real. If we tell them about the real version of Jesus and not put the military or government in it, then they gonna get saved. They might get saved. But we making Jesus, we giving them all these rules that you got to follow that's not in the Bible, because you're really trying to manipulate them and control them, mind control them, and take their money. Then they going to run from that. You're not offering them Jesus. You offering them your brand of whatever you got going on. You offering them your brand of whatever you got going on. That's not the salvation in the gospel that Jesus was teaching. You offering them bondage. That's not what Jesus taught. That's all I'm saying. Like, so Mr. Good Citizen, they can't come on. They could come and say my Christianity. They try to tie me in every way they can. I could care less. Arrest me, put fake charges on me. That's why somebody talking about civil rights, bro. I got the war rooms. I'm a civil rights warrior. And I got the wounds to prove it, boy. I done had 22 interactions with the police, and every one of them charges got dropped in the end. So they were fake charges. The police messing with me. I got lawsuits against the police. Boy, I got the war rooms to prove I'm a civil rights warrior. And he's talking about a white supremacist lover. These people are so funny. Yeah, David, Jesus does save souls and he loves everybody. Jesus is king, man. I'm not trying to live like no fake Christian or no fake religion or no fake rules that you got going on. I'm living by every word that proceeded out what God said. I'm not trying to be in your clique or your organization. You ain't got no heaven that I could go to. When I die, you gonna die just like me. That's what in Ecclesiastes, Son of Solomon said. He said, how does the wise man die? Like the fool, they die the same. You ain't no special to know. Dudes be walking around in their mind, they tell themselves they special. That's how they get money. That's how they get power and control over people. It don't work on me. You can't use that, run that game on me. You gonna tell me to be poor while you worth $10 million. You telling the people in your church to be poor. Oh, if you poor, you gonna be closer to God. But why you ain't poor though? If being poor, being closer to God, why dude ain't poor? He ain't poor though. But he tell you to be poor to be close to it. Don't make you can't run that game on me, dog. You could in my 20s. You're not running it on me today. Go run the game on those weak-minded people who listening to you. You know I ain't listening to you. You could keep trying, though. I feel sorry for somebody who keep trying to prove their point to somebody who ain't listening and who they know ain't gonna listen and been trying for 30 years to prove a point that I ain't hearing nothing you talking about. All I'm doing is suing you. That's it. Suing you. That's all I got for you is a new lawsuit. All right, Wisely. See you later. I got baking soda. Got baking soda. Hey, boys, got that crack cocaine. Hey, man, like Mr. Good Citizen, I think we finna get on down, man. We back on Monday, man, at 7 a.m. Eastern, man, to do the political talk. Ghostwriter be back on here to argue with the numb heads or whatever. But y'all listen, every day I wake up, man, I say the same thing. I say, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, man. Christ is King. Jesus is King, not no church, not no religion, not no preacher. Jesus Christ. You don't need to add nothing into Jesus Christ. Oh, what the preacher said is Jesus Christ and Christ alone. Jesus alone. God alone. Don't add nothing in it. I don't care what no military talking about. I love our military. I love our veterans. But the military ain't got no place in the church, bruh. Not in the church. Let the military look. That's what the problem is. You bringing the military into civilian. That's not where they. But them people wearing BDUs. They got camouflage on. Their uniform lets us know that they supposed to be in the woods looking for the bad guys, looking for the enemies. We are Americans. We got civil law enforcement to handle these problems. We don't need the military in the church, man. That's the house of God. What's the military doing with the church? That don't make no sense. They're like, this dude a plan. He a CIA plan. The whole time he a CIA plan. The military in the church for, man, that don't make no sense. You ain't see God with the Roman soldiers. Jesus walking around with the Roman soldiers. Jesus connected with the Roman soldiers. You represent Jesus, ain't you? Well, I'm saying, what that don't make no sense, man. It ain't adding up. You see what I'm saying? You got to make it make sense. Y'all, that's my time, man. I love y'all. Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern, man. Big Ghostwriter. See y'all there.